stuff this morning.
What do you mean?
Taz, when you came on, I
no.
showed a picture of you.
Yeah.
Two pictures. Your ID picture,
Okay.
and then your picture when you were a kid.
Right.
It
Yo,
was the same picture, only just a
you're
little
just
small.
at this point.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good intentions you are.
Right.
Everything's coming to bear in your roast.
Well, the
Right.
thing is, here's the thing. His picture that they took of him
Yeah.
with a computerized camera,
Yeah.
and he said had his eyes open, he was smiling.
Yeah.
Came out like it's just a square black.
Yo, that's fucked up. I'll tell you what. I tried to get him to smile once.
Yeah.
I tried to get him to smile once during the band picture. Man, we look too serious, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's like this. That's how we go by even sense, right? Because it's like the band name is all about having an even sensibility about things. Like everything is like, for my philosophy, personally, I say the same. I find a lot of people say that more often the same thing differently.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Oh
You know?
yeah.
Right.
Sure.
People say the same thing, just differently, and you just get to accept it and kind of keep it moving.
Just like perfect example here would be, I love my brother,
Right.
but my brother doesn't love me.
By not showing up on time.
By not showing up on
it's
time. By forgetting about my show every single Monday.
That is not the truth. That is not.
I wish we had.
That is not the truth. That is not. That's
Okay, is it true or not true that you forget about my show every single Monday? Since
No,
I've been doing it for the
no.
last 4 years.
The last time.
There's this
because
example
most
of he
the
thought
time
it started at 10 o'clock, and then last week.
most of the time I'm
last-
working. When you was on, I was working, so I didn't really care.
Even before that.
Yeah, because last week we
didn't
came
really-
to
I
band
didn't
practice.
really-
When you weren't working
I mean, I don't.
and you'd come on my show.
Yo, don't get defensive. The tone
No,
you're taking is.
I mean,
you gotta change.
There's
it.
no excuse.
I'll say, listen, it's my fault. I thought it was at a later time.
Okay, so
Hey,
wait, let me.
Last week when I came in here and bum rushed the show, I'm just gonna be honest. I just clearly forgot. I just clearly forgot. I mean, I had other things on my mind, and it's like, whatever, fuck whatever is on your mind. Remember that your brother's show is on Monday. Okay, I get it. That was my fault. But this time, yeah, that's right. My wife even reminded me. Make sure that there's a radio show, but I never knew the time. I knew it was on Mondays. I just never knew the time.
I
can't say never.
No. I had this problem with him earlier because I was discussing MIDI code with him about 480 beats per quarter note, and my man's math number skills are just not there. They're just not.
Well, it's because you know why.
And I'm just for those out there who understand MIDI code,
I could tell you why he doesn't understand your code, because his code is completely different from everybody else's.
Right? He can hypnotize people at a 16th note.
And
not many people can do that.
This dude, he takes a.
Not many people can do that.
He takes a 3/4 song.
I give him a pass.
Dude, he takes a 3/4 song and makes it 42/62.
Yeah, right.
And that's it. And there's
right,
no
exactly.
Breaks. And this man does not.
And
get
there's
tired
no
of
breaks. Just
right.
like shout out to All Gas No Breaks. This is your drummer manifesto right here, man. He's the guy. Yeah. Those All Gas No Breaks. He's an independent journalist on YouTube. Okay, yeah, cool cat. What's his name? I'm talking about the curly hair cat.
I have no idea.
Anyway, but yeah, no, like he's that drummer. That All Gas No Breaks. Don't slow down for nobody. Definitely. Turn 4/6 into 44/68. Was that what you said? That were his exact numbers. Is that true? Have you ever done
32/68?
Have you ever done 32?
Because mathematically, 32 goes into 68, right?
No.
That does.
No, 32 goes into 64.
32 also goes into 68.
There's
2, 4, 6, 8.
You're talking about
multiples of 2, right?
Yeah, you're talking about factors. You're adding a factor because 32 times
I'm
2.
talking about his time signature.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it because
I look at
my
thing is
I like how
you're the drummer.
He's right.
And I'm talking about you.
Right.
Did what I said.
He's talking about how you bamboozle people and they don't know how to come back in.
I'll add
because the meter you be throwing all you got so much independence.
Dude, I'll add 2 and 3 in a 5.
Right.
2 and 3.
I've seen you do it.
But I'll split it up.
Right.
I can split it up with 3
I've seen you do it.
limbs.
Yeah.
I can slow one side up, speed another side up, and in a mix.
32, 60,
part of
68.
I can do all of that stuff blindfold.
Part of what makes me flow with his control of the 16th note in that regard, because the percussiveness is having 16th note,
Right.
is to kind of bring it all under this unified 4/4. So I get to like swoon it out with all these sort of jazz chords and things that I've been working on my whole life. It's interesting because it's not often, and I've had this interaction before with other people in my life, but it's not often you meet people who are exactly on the same frequency and rhythm that you dream in music. So the music that I write on my keyboard, for example, and shout out to Yamaha for creating a motif. You know, the sequencer is so quick. When I worked at Guitar Center, I watched so many people build these songs, these beats on Yamaha. And anyway, I would do that, and my natural thing would come out. I play these songs now. You can find exactly where my drumming is. A lot of where he drums and where he finds pockets is exactly where I feel it. So again, you don't have often the proof in the pudding, if you will, with how, like, I mean, that music I woke up and I put together after waking up. Like I dreamt it. That's part of my music. That's part of my contribution to this world. I'll be damned if I die, don't get it out. I discovered my drummer. The guy's like playing the same music that I am. Does that make sense?
Right.
I'm getting kind of whatever. You know,
Sure.
But it's like, you know, physical beings having a spiritual experience, or spiritual beings have physical experience. Meeting Taz is like my music can come to life.
Right.
And I'm able to do shit I would never been able to do. I ever thought I could do.
All right.
Anyway.
Real quick shout out to Chris Caveman. He's watching.
Chris, what's up?
Love you, brother.
Salud.
But yeah, so that's interesting. I know.
Yeah, no, that's just what it is for me,
is.
because again, you don't meet people who you can see eye to eye with the music. Music is a liberating art of the mind, according to the ancient Egyptians.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we're all saying the same thing differently. We're just speaking in music. It's like speaking in tongues.
Oh yeah, especially with this cat.
Especially with that guy.
Because
yo,
no, I don't mean that. No,
right. No
mean that
disrespect.
Not at all.
Busta Rhymes had a new. He holds
Who?
a six. Busta Rhymes came out with a new album.
There's a Busta Rhymes.
You're not into hip hop. The point is,
that's Ludacris, man.
No, Ludacris does it too. Ludacris does it too.
Dude, I'm knocking it, man.
No, but it's cool. It's cool. But it's language over a 16th note. You know what I'm saying? There's this flavor over the 16th note. Yeah. And that 16th note.
Yeah, I don't.
No. This is music because you understand meter.
No.
Yeah,
I understand music.
Yeah, you don't understand hip hop.
I don't understand rap.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because I don't just.
That's okay. No, Buster.
Yeah.
No, if you've heard some of the.
I haven't.
Well, right. No, you purposely avoided it. The thing is,
not really. I mean,
you don't have a choice with hip hop.
I have heard of it.
Right.
There has been some hip hop that I have listened to.
Yeah, sure.
We have a couple of hip hop artists on the station.
Yeah, that's what's up. All it is poetry over music. You do it over rock, blues.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's the same tradition. Just like rock came from the slave hymnals. You know what I'm saying? It's the same branches of music.
Came from what?
Rock came from blues, right?
From blues, yeah.
Right. Blues came from the slave hymnals.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how. Yeah, that's the actual pedagogy, the way the music has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz comes from the blues. Blues has been around since antebellum.
Right.
Yeah, before the civil war, there was, the slave hymnals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. A little bit of history. Again, it's a liberating art of the mind. You can tell the story of the world through music.
Yeah, and one thing is one good thing.
And thanks for having us here.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so sorry for being late like an asshole.
Oh no, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm used to it.
Yep. Shouts out to those who deserve that one.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
This thing's really delayed right now, so
it's still recording though, right?
Yeah, we're still going. We're still live.
Awesome.
We're live on YouTube Live, and also
no kidding.
I renamed my page instead of Captain Steve on Revolution 2.0.
Revolution 2.0. I like
it's,
that.
It's Revolution Radio Las Vegas. That's what we're going to be called now.
Okay.
If you want some hip hop to flip your rig, you want to check out your namesake. There's an album out there with Revolutionary Volume 2, because your Revolution Volume 2 is a close little thing you might have with keeping it.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Check me out. Because Immortal Technique is one of the most notorious, awesome, and amazing underground hip hop artists in the world. And if you listen to him, there's enough knowledge for a college professorialship. That guy's like a reader of Noam Chomsky and so on. Like, it's a fascinating album, revolutionary. And you might find a lot of your similar politics manifested in very aggressive. I think he's Puerto Rican. He's like Caribbean style. That Latin influence hip hop. Amazing individual. Amazing album. I think there's a few songs out there. He talks about like Scarface. He uses this. He sampled Scarface. He didn't get permission for it. It's an underground album. But he sampled Scarface and did this whole thing about the cocaine industry. He talks about the fourth branch of the government, the U.S. media. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really some of these politics I think you get down with, and that's just a rapper named Moral Technique, and he breaks it. He's so eloquent and articulate at the same time. Yeah, and it's ruthless. I mean, if you get high at all, you'll sit there, listen to him, and be like, God damn, that's just terrible. Some of the shit that he just breaks it down in this ruthlessness. It's very, very good stuff.
Yeah, there's a few rappers out there that Chris has turned me on to. That's been, I've been a little standoffish.
Sure, for sure.
It's not my thing.
Yeah.
But it's
you don't look like a hip hop appreciator. That's okay.
No, I'm not a hip hop fan.
Okay.
Rap fan.
And I think it's okay to own that.
I could appreciate it.
Yeah, that's respectful.
For what it is.
I appreciate how you frame it.
And it's because I've had a couple of different people come in and I ask them, okay, well, what's the deal? What's the thing with the wiki thing and all that other DJ, all the other stuff. What's the point of, I understand that your lyrics are yours, but you're ripping off somebody else's music.
Right. That's the intention. Yeah.
And it's write your own shit then. Right.
No, the thing
don't take what somebody that's already made famous.
No, I completely disagree because the most famous music has been that way.
Then you're taking copyrighted material that you didn't write and trying to make it your own.
Right, but that's happened throughout the history.
It's more like an homage, like paying homage to something.
Right.
You don't have to use. You can use. That's why they call them samples.
Right.
You don't have to use that whole bit, but you just use a sample of that song and they can loop it.
Right.
And that's just showing like paying homage to
because those
guys. Steely Dan, he may have a sample in there that everybody likes, so then they take that sample, loop it, and put some lyrics over
that one
it's
song.
Just like saying having no mind, but it's not the whole song.
That one song, Uptown Baby.
If they do the whole song, they got permission, or they're gonna alter it.
Right. So Steely Dan get paid on that.
Right.
I remember I was talking to a guy. He's like, man, I love what's his name, Warren G. Well, he was like, yeah, Warren G. He's such a genius keyboardist, and I laughed him at the club in his face in front of all his homies. So what the fuck are you talking about? I never met this guy. He had this chain on him. I got to show you a picture anyway.
Like this?
No. It was obtuse. It was made out of acrylic. It said like something funny.
Made out of acrylic.
It was acrylic necklace. It was like an old school thing. And he said to me that Warren G made a great keyboard sample. It was just a genius keyboard. He came out. I was like, that's Michael McDonald. Like what are you talking about? Like that's not him. He didn't come up with that. To your point. And a lot of people get it twisted, and unfortunately, people who are not music nerds don't pay attention to how Steely Dan got paid on that. They also got paid on Uptown Baby. Uptown Baby, the sample from Black Cow. You know what I mean? So anyway,
he don't know all these things.
Right. But the point is that
me neither.
Even though I see your point.
Yeah, you don't know. Do you know who Journey is?
No.
Do you know who
Elton John?
When you mentioned Steely Dan, did you know who Steely Dan is?
Donald Fagen
and the guitars.
Steely Dan is.
And the guitars.
The band guitars. Steely Dan.
It's Donald Fagen and the guitars. Michael, what's his name? Guitars. What's the guy's name of the guitars?
I don't know.
Yeah, but those guys are Steely Dan. They own Steely Dan. And for y'all who ain't music nerds, I wag your finger for mentioning Steely Dan, not knowing the band contents. You don't even know who the members are. Because I don't even know his last name. But they're legends.
Steely Dan, they did like
A19.
They did Peg.
Yep.
They did that album Asia. AJA. Amazing band. Right. He had that timbre, that voice that kind of spoke to like the masses.
Yeah, real soothing.
Yeah.
Kind of soulful.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people gonna bust me up because
Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
He was that's from
the Doobie Brothers.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. A lot of people gonna bust me up for not knowing Journey.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap you after the show.
I'm not a Journey fan either. I never grew up.
But you know who Journey is.
I mean, I kind of. No.
Okay.
No.
What's a Journey song that you know?
Can't tell you one.
Not at all.
Can't tell you one.
And
I can't tell you three. I'm 40.
I'm 44.
Yeah, I know that.
No.
You have an excuse. You're a jazz player.
Yeah. No. Listen. I'm not going to be held responsible to your perception on how music should be dictated as learned.
No, I'm not trying to dictate.
Well, then I don't need to know who Journey is.
Well, I don't even know who Ludacris is.
Right. But I'm telling you about it, and you can tell me about Journey. And
then it's like I don't know anything from Journey, but I can recognize a song that comes on.
I'll be like, okay, that was a hit.
I can play to that.
Oh, that's Journey. Okay.
But if you tell me what's the history of Journey, and
I'm not saying that.
We have a hand in the audience.
Yeah.
Would you like to bring up a point, ma'am?
I can tell you anything you want to know about Journey.
I bet
she is a Journey freak. I'll tell you that.
That's awesome. No, I always respect the fans. Yeah. Because from them, when I respect what I love about one artist, I know I guarantee that Journey will be like. That's why I like talking to fans of like 80s rock. One of our metal. Two things that I really have a hard time, playing with. But I'll respect it because of the technique and the skill that goes into it, and the beauty of the lyrics, the originality. Back to your point earlier.
Yeah, but see, there's like Nazareth or what was the other one we were talking about? Def Leppard.
Yeah,
Nazareth is a band.
Yep. Def Leppard.
See, I grew up on.
I know one of the engineers.
I grew up on Sergio Mendes, Sonny Ade,
right.
Jaco Pastorius.
Right. Yeah. I woke up on Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Oscar Peterson.
Yeah. Well, see, I grew up on that too.
Well,
so I've got such an eclectic taste in music.
Right.
I've got blues and jazz and.
I think, Steve, there are people who catalog music and those who play it. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Is that one going?
Mm-hmm. They're both going.
Okay. Here's my thing, right? When it comes to grabbing the moment, right? See, people want to say that jazz is dead. Yeah. That's bullshit. The thing about jazz is that it's the moment. It's always going on. If you're able to grab it, you're able to grab it. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Everybody grabs it from a different region across the world. Mm-hmm. And it comes out differently. In the mountains of Appalachia, it comes out, hillbilly. Appalachia. I say Appalachia. Yeah. Appalachian Mountains,
Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful country. Yeah. Certain things just come out of there. Mm-hmm. Also, you can see the influence that came from Africa because the banjo is originally an African instrument.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. People think it's just.
I know the djembe.
Yeah, the djembe. Yeah, because it's and again we have a limited frame of reference on how much we have a continental influence here.
I can't see the banjo.
They stretch it over like a large coconut or a hard shell
or a skin.
Yeah, there's a Bella Fleck. You know who Bella Fleck and the Flecktones?
Yeah.
Bella Fleck's one of the most masterful.
Yeah.
You want to talk about? He can grab by a 32nd note. You can play with him faster. He does 64th notes because the banjo player, all you do is this. Guitarists can do that shit. He's amazing and he's precise. Yeah. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. But he's a masterful banjo player, and he has this. I forget what it's called on Netflix. This documentary where he traces the roots of the banjo, and he ends up in like Ivory Coast and Senegal and Nigeria. I forget, but it's a whole region of how those people have created this instrument. And there's this whole issue about tuning. It's like catgut stretched over. You know what I'm saying? You got to carve a hole in the coconut so the stick fits in and then stretches over. There's a certain tension thing.
Sure.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because if you can.
Well, in any kind of stringed instrument, there's got to be tension on a string to make a noise.
True. It's just physics. Yeah. So you can trace it all the way back. And so it's interesting because if you listen to hillbilly music, you can hear, what is native. In like red man native bullshit, native to this land. Yeah. Right? Because there's a disco beat. Okay. All right. So that's they're not even the same people, but somehow but it's influenced, you see. It's part of the music. It's an ingredient of the music.
That's interesting.
And also consider the Hungarian, clogging. Just a disco beat. Consider that.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Flute too.
Yeah. Everybody's just they're just fitting into a quarter note. Mm-hmm. My man plays 16th notes. So don't be coming at him all sideways about being late. All right? I don't know what your problem is, Steve. Coming at sideways.
I could come at this man sideways, upside down, circular, and everything else, and he has to take it.
See, I don't have to. I just choose to out of love. Love and respect.
Don't forget it has a key to that.
Hey.
Just prepping for the roast, man.
Right. That's smooth.
This man's birthday is this weekend.
The 4th.
And
2 days after.
the 5th.
Oh, so Friday.
It's the 5th. No, it's a Thursday.
Yeah.
6th is your party.
That's right.
Here.
Okay.
No,
Friday.
No, that's not right. That's right. It's the 3rd is. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The 3rd is.
Get your calendar.
Get my
out.
calendar out. The 3rd is voting day Tuesday.
Hey,
See.
okay. Anyway, Thursday is your birthday.
Right.
So happy birthday early.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Friday's going to be your roast.
Right.
So
Enjoy your roast now.
prepare. Just
we're gonna have.
prepare
I think,
yourself.
we're probably gonna have a small, party or whatnot. I might,
Right.
have the band to perform, but maybe, that weekend after, or just maybe do a couple tracks from the album or something. But
Do you want to perform or afterwards?
that's fine.
Before or afterwards?
Afterwards.
Okay, so
That's
you
how I
guys,
felt.
are actually you're in collaboration for an album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is.
Okay, so anyway, so I know you talk a lot. So are you going to be the spokesman for the band?
No, I feel like Taz represents himself fine. I think people are going to come at me.
Okay,
about
but who's going to represent?
Well, right now,
Yeah,
yeah,
as
I'm
far
fine
as-
with that. Are you fine with that?
Who's the
I would.
I mean, you think for yourself.
So is this Sense and
this is-
Sensibility
this is-
or
no,
this is what I'm.
even
I know it's
sense,
even
right?
This is
You're
what
not-
I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say, and I know I've never liked the whole thing about who's the spokesman.
Thank you.
I've never been, even with Global Effect.
Thank
my
you.
band Global Effect. We've not. I look at it as each and everyone is his own artist, their own entity. So if you can't find the words to say how to express yourself, then just don't say it.
This is why we
So
have an
this
open
isn't-
court
it's
philosophy with
not
the
a-
mic in the band while
It's
we
not
practice.
who's the leader, who's the
Right.
That's
If you want to come
it's
through,
not about ego,
and do something-
It's about
yeah.
the music.
Oh,
some
that's
people
all
want to
about
come
the
through and they want to
experience.
lay some poetry. They feel our rhythm, they feel what they can, and they feel my man as a drummer,
Yeah,
and so they want to get in there
yeah.
and they want to like spit something.
Yeah.
Now, trust me, if a DJ comes and they want to do like a song over the top and they get out of the way, Taz is so good, he knows how to get the DJ out the way. So if
I've
the
done a lot
so
of
if
DJs.
so if
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy with the mic, if the guy on the mic has even sense of things, everybody gets in front of, so we can maintain this sensibility, this even sense about things.
I
Because
get you.
everybody gets to contribute to the jazz.
I get you. So it's more like an even flow to it.
And even
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, an even
Yeah.
sense.
I mean,
It's
plays
like-
to the 16th
So
note.
that even sense. How'd you come up with that name?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I was actually with what we started working together when that Monday.
I mean, it was shout out to Mike Lizelle for hosting the
Yeah,
Halloween party,
and
and that's what we played. We
it
played
was
that night.
it was maybe like sometime like because
And then it was after that, and then it was the next day. I think you came up with because we were tossing band
right. I
names.
think it was because we
JR was with us. Yeah, I think it was like I want to say 2 or 3 days after that.
Wednesday or Thursday,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So what I came up with?
Because I didn't like
was
the
that-
first few names. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's not feeling it.
So we were just jamming out. He had his board. JR was there, and I just realized that
Right here in the room.
I thought about, okay, well, we're all 3 different type of musicians, all 3 different type of artists, all 3 different type of individuals on an individual. What's the common goal? What's the common connection
Say
with
it,
these
Taz.
3 entities or these 3
Right.
gods or
Normally
whatever?
he says that.
I know, I'm just making fun
No.
of that too because
Okay,
I want to
okay,
encourage
go ahead.
him to get it out because that's what
Just
it
say
is.
My thing is, I look
Yeah.
at it like it just. I'm trying to figure out the right words to say it.
I think you just did though. In the even
It's
sense of
the
things.
even sense of things, that there's a common understanding among any disagreement.
Mm.
Everybody has the even sensibility to understand. Okay, I can learn to agree to do what? Disagree. That's one even sense people can realize. If I don't agree with them, I can learn to agree to disagree,
And
that's
move on.
And that's
And
an
still
even
be
and-
good.
and
Yeah, and still be in the
and
moment and
Yeah.
not stuck in the past with whatever you just. You got way more in common than that.
energies flow
Most
through
people
you.
say the same thing. Different people have more in common than they have differences. I don't like physically focus on differences. It's not part of the culture that I like to participate in. I think with even sense, people forgot. You don't have to participate in taking away from a room.
Right. It's not about taking away from anything. If you don't have anything to contribute to art, and what is art? Art is basically there's something to create. this world right now is going in the handbasket.
Man, you getting deep, man. Take it easy.
The only people that can actually salvage this world are the creators.
No, that's it.
Who are the creators? The artists, the me's, the yous.
My man, so he comes from a fighter's. He comes from part of a world where he has to fight. He had to fight to be where he is. He told me that he takes it on the drums. Mm-hmm. You will not hear a more poetic, eloquent
story
to articulate a sense of violence to music. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's about as poetic as it gets. And I think people have the same relationship differently. I don't come from a violent background. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My father beat me. You know what I mean? But then, so I have an aversion to violence. So for me, after he left, I got my friend would say I got the ADC after Daddy cut out. After Daddy cut out, right? That's funny
ADC.
Shit. The ADC. After Daddy cut out. Yeah.
Okay. All
yeah.
Right.
So after Daddy cut out, it was like I had to learn.
So instead of ADD or ADD.
Right. You got the ADC. Yeah. I don't know what I forgot. That was such a funny.
I mean, what brings it back to because whatever you believe in, however you believe in, you will have an even sense to understand. You can respect someone for believing in something,
right?
Even
with the after Daddy cut out thing, I can't remember. We got so deep, I forgot. That was kind of lost in that one.
Amen. Winehouse tutorial.
Right. Now, I think Steve, you said it earlier. I was running my mouth too much.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna take that one.
I'm sorry. Say that.
Oh, just take that one.
Say that one again.
No, that's good. I mean, that's good because I'm the type of person. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's good because I don't say a lot of stuff. The only thing I is when I'm on drums. That's when I speak.
And I think
it'll take me all night just to get one point out.
And Steve, I'll run my mouth, about the band and stuff. But the truth is, Taz speaks for himself all day. There's no real spokesperson for the band.
Yeah,
and I would hate to say something be misinterpreted that somehow offends him. You know what I mean? In the future, because this is someone I want to play for the rest of my life with. I have not met. That's just what it is. Yeah. I look forward to going old with a fellow musician. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's people I played with. It's like, I'm gonna fuck with the audience real quick. Playing with musicians is like sex, because you wish, as you get better, you wish you could go back to the time you lost your virginity and show up what's up. That old joke that comedians make. It's like that because you want to kind of go back and prove how far you have come, in your technique. And when you meet someone who can help you grow, and not only that, but there's almost a camaraderie in your mischievousness and trying to create the beat in the moment. You know what I mean? That's just, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I guess my thing was, what song did you lose your virginity to?
What song? You know what? There was no song playing.
Mine was House of Lords and Remember My Name.
I got to hear that song because the titles alone are hilarious.
Oh,
Remember My Name. That's going to be your virginity song.
No, I'll tell you what.
It's called House of the Lord.
I was waiting on ice cream truck.
Right.
Oh, yours was?
No.
So, well,
the
story behind House of Lords. House of Lords is a collaboration of some really great artists.
Yeah.
And they formed House of Lords, and they did a song called Remember My Name. And it's a melody. It's a nice little.
I feel like you gotta hear it.
You do gotta hear it.
Yeah.
Can't play it on here because then they'll ban the
right
thing because it's copywritten and everything.
Right.
So
it's revolutionary radios. We gotta be. There's rules to obey with this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always rules that we gotta do. But one thing we know for certain is that music, no matter what genre it is, brings everybody together.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's that.
And it's not just jazz or jazz fusion or blues or rap or whatever.
Right.
Every genre has their group.
And everybody knows quality, no matter where it is. I remember I heard a dope ass polka band. I couldn't believe it. They polkaed the pocket. They just they just had a lock to it, a snap to it. How do you polka a pocket?
I've listened to.
How do you pocket a polka? How do you pocket a polka? Do you polka a pocket or do you pocket a polka?
Either one.
I don't know.
You have to pocket the polka.
I
think you have to pocket the polka, right? Because you want the pocket to be in the polka genre.
Or you want the polka to be in the pocket.
Well, I think that's
what you were saying.
It's objective subject.
if she let me, I just like to poke her.
What do you guys think? Is it pocket the poker or
Does
poker
that
the
make
pocket?
even sense? Huh?
Okay.
I like the poker pocket.
I think you got a hole in your pocket on that one because something fell through.
It's I call it the polka pocket.
That's the poker pocket.
Right. But I've heard a polka band have a pocket, and it was about poker, and it was good. It was really nice. And what they did is they slowed down the meter of the polka. They were kind of backtracking, and polka's kind of like always a perky beat. So it's to see a band do that successfully is tricky, and they did it. So even the highest, most corniest grade of like I could make fun of it with a rhetorical pocket polka word game.
Yeah.
And those guys fucking had it.
Oh sure.
Yeah. Get the hell. Yeah. Get out of here.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of country artists out there.
Right.
Like, oh, they're really in the groove on that.
You bet.
I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
You know.
Not every groove gets translated right, though. You know what I'm saying? Like the
well,
best music's
not
underground.
everybody likes country either.
Yeah, but the best
Not
country
everybody
music.
likes polka.
Yeah.
I played Vietnamese music. I kid you not. My wife and I played
That's
everything from
beautiful
newgrass to bluegrass. I played traditional Vietnamese. I played pop Vietnamese.
It's a privilege to play with you. My man's Brazilian. Come on, like
I played with Afro-Cuban bands. I played with salsa bands, Cuban bands. I played with cumbia. I played cumbias. I just realized I could do that the other day. I play cumbia and reggaeton.
Self-discovery.
Man, I just realized I can do a lot of stuff. I'm like, but it's not. See, what bores me is that if it's not,
say it.
it's okay.
Whenever he pauses, he wants to say it, Dad.
If there's no imagination,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
in creativity,
Right.
there can never be anything.
Exactly.
Right. Now, I try to get this through in music with tone and with the 16 note. I want people to feel, not because you and me both know everybody wants to be entertained first, then listen second. They want to see what they like first and then be entertained. My thing is, if your imagination is as great as your creation, if your imagine, they teach us that in grade school to have a big imagination. You can change worlds. You can create worlds. You can create.
I believe that growing up.
You can create.
You can be whatever you want to be.
You can be.
But you have that talent.
And that's what I'm trying to bring back to the art, because I love say it, and I don't want to offend nobody. And this is one reason why I don't consider myself like I respect rock, I respect metal.
Yeah.
Because it all has a story, it all has a interpretation, and it all has a character.
Oh yeah, one of those.
But to me, it's the balance between light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rock. Everything that you got about rock,
My man's a Jedi about shit over here. Check him out.
It's a dark image, and the dark image in rock is cool. You got the black leather, you got the skulls, you got the bones, you got the blood. The more scarier you are, the more hip and people listen to you. So it's like,
shout out to the
it.
band for the Halloween party during Mike Lazelle's set. That drummer was amazing.
Do you remember what they were called?
Like Journey is a prime example
Four
of
letters.
what you're saying, of just the opposite, because they
IDSFA and Cure the Curse.
Cure the curse.
But like I was saying,
IDSFA doesn't stand for anything.
IDSFA? No. IDSFA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Fine.
doesn't stand for
like
anything.
like Journey. Journey is just the opposite. The scarab is eternal life.
I just picked up production value.
Bright colors.
Right.
They don't have dark.
Right.
They don't have black.
Right.
Theirs is all colorful.
I get that.
And Styx was the same way.
Right. I refract it differently.
You know, like Megadeth or Motorhead.
Yeah,
or,
like stuff like that. When I grew up, when I got to the United States, the only thing that I noticed that was on that was about rock was the only thing I remember about rock is that it skinny stretch pants and a lot of hair. That's all I remember.
That's 80s.
That was
tell you what,
80s
dude,
rock.
Before we get any further, we do have a comment that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
It's from Ann. out in.
Hey, Ann, thanks for pitching in.
She's out in where the fuck is she?
Always been about the music. Have listened
Midwest,
to
northern Midwest.
No kidding.
Is where she's from. She goes, I've always been about the music, have listened to everything, and love all kinds of music. My son has played drums since he was 8, and he is always revolving around different genres. Totally understand where you're coming from.
Thank you for that comment. Definitely like that one.
So,
Definitely.
And Cheryl said it was a great night. She was talking about that Saturday last Saturday night, not this past one, but last Saturday night.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It's a respect other genres. I'm not a metalhead, but that drummer they had, IDSFA, crazy. Oh, and it was funny. I was talking to the other bandmates. How old he is? No, he's probably in his mid-30s.
No, he's in his 60s.
He's in his 60s.
He's getting ready to retire.
That guy looks good. Yo, hats off to IDSFA. It was funny because I was talking to those guys after the show, and they were mad. They were missing cues, and they were talking. The guys had enough nerve. I could tell they playing for like 30 years with each other. Some long ass time to be talking shit about each other after that show.
Oh yeah.
It was like you guys' production value is so high that the smoke barrels didn't kick off when you hit a certain note. Get the fuck out of here with the production quality here, like the timing.
Yeah, those
like
guys,
you guys are nuts.
They're amazing.
It's like the day that what do you call it? Mozart tried to get a symphony at the age of 18 to perform something. You know what I mean? Like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's in the top hall in Vienna.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he had a solo at 6 years old. Like, anyway, the point is there's a real demand for excellence. And even a small band like that has so much production value behind their shit. Come on, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like metal.
Smurf is watching us. She's up in Washington.
Okay.
She's one of our loyal listeners, loyal fans.
What's up?
Are you going to put up a Facebook page?
Yeah, we have to do all of that about the band. Even since we're going to put up the Facebook page, we're going to do an artist page, and sometime this week we're going to start.
We're actually shopping around for a technology consultant.
Yeah, that too.
Something to help us. You might have to hire like a college kid who's bored.
If you know anybody
to do what?
To do some kind of helping out with the technology portion of it. We'll start doing our own Facebook. We got to turn it into something and then hire someone to manage.
I'm gonna put up.
You have to have a digital responsibility nowadays. My man, this is my thing. Right? I got the Motorola StarTAC, my first cell phone, at the age of 20. I'm 40, so my life literally straddles halfway before and after cell phones as a technology. Now everybody's spoiled by their screens, mind you. And the kids who were 2 years old in 2006 are full grown, and they're adults now. And they're 2 years old. They hustled their parents out of their iPhone just to shut them up in the grocery store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now me and him straddle this, right? We can communicate with those before technology. And there's plenty of cats older than us who have technology figured out, no problem. But we still, like, at our age, aren't saturated with it.
Right.
So it's like we kind of live on this, like, why do we have to invest in? Thank you.
I agree.
I salute you for doing it, bro.
There's having to write in a letter.
There's Twitter. Yeah, right. There's Twitter. There's Instagram. There's TikTok. There's Facebook.
So much content, and profile, and wording to get right.
Pinterest.
Yeah, there's Pinterest.
I guess we can get a Pinterest interest.
A Pinterest interest?
Yeah, an interest in our Pinterest as a band. I don't know why we'd open a Pinterest account.
You're gonna open
Pinterest?
Pinterest?
No, we'd have fans who want to be on our Pinterest and we post on our. You know what Pinterest is?
Say it, Dad.
You brought it up.
I just
say it, Taz.
I don't know. I mean, the Pony Express, your sister's butt. I mean, we'll be anyway.
Sister's butt.
Wait, the computer world's that confused. Didn't you say Pinterest?
Yeah, Pinterest.
If you know online,
that's like
you want to do a band Pinterest page?
No, I'm just saying.
You brought it up.
It's a social media platform, ain't it?
Wait, what the hell is Pinterest anyway? Does anybody know what it is?
Yes, I do.
It's just like,
so if you're interested in something, you do a poster board. And you can, and then what's cool is you look up where other people are interested in the same things. Often they'll share like Forbes. You just pin whatever thing to your Pinterest. And you can categorize it and organize it. Okay. Say you were interested in stock market research, so you'd find like all these guys and who are in the stock market off of TikTok or off of whatever form. If you could share it with Pinterest, then you have a board, if you will, of all this stuff. You just pin in motherfuckers. Like, this is the category you fit under. And it's cool because you get to organize media, if you will, in your terms. You'll find great recipes. Great. My favorite Pinterest is cooking, like roasted potatoes and like dill. Oh, man. I learned how to whip up some cream on Pinterest. Pinterest is the shit. I just don't see us banned. I don't know.
Nah,
Are you gonna? You know what you should do?
I didn't want to.
You should put your sponsors up on Pinterest.
On Pinterest?
Yeah, since you brought it up, that's what you should do. Open a Pinterest account, and then we'll upgrade you to the Facebook band page. In the meantime, I'm keeping you a far distance away from the Facebook band page.
You just got to keep it off the computer altogether.
Right.
I'll just record what he's doing.
Right,
he can get his racing buddies.
See,
He can get his racing buddies, but he's taking his control.
What you had to say
when he takes control,
we charge people for what you got to say. We
take
charge
control.
people for what you got to say.
Take control of his control.
Going,
num, num, num,
right.
Num, 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 num. Come
He's
play.
gonna be fine.
It's like that old slogan, that old NBA slogan.
You know what I want to do for Steve? Steve, you know what I want to do for him? Because I was a manager at Guitar Center. So I used to teach people equipment all the time, real quick. It was my job, right? Oh, you want this, and here's why, type of bullshit. And I sell people stuff. Now I was in pro audio. So what I told him is like, you need to get your MIDI game tight, right? Because MIDI, 480 beats per quarter note, is a technology that can translate across virtually any medium of music instrument, from the old Casio keyboards, to whatever. My man can create pockets, real funky pockets at the 16th note. See what I'm saying? So now you can build all kinds of arpeggios and patterns and sell that IP to like Yamaha or whatever if they're looking for a certain pattern. And that would be your Pinterest. Your Pinterest would be about drumming. Your interest would be about that would be the kind of things you would do. If you are to be more active on Pinterest, that's what I would suggest. Sponsorship.
So what you're saying is he would get with other drummers and talk about drumming.
Yeah. And you'd be lucky to be in the room with them.
Kind of like bouncers, getting with other bouncers, talking about bouncers.
Yo, I'm saying, like, it's like that. It's like that.
Sorry, Ron, I had to steal your mind.
No, it's respect though.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's been really good. So just wondering if anyone is worried about what's going to happen after the election tomorrow. That's actually a good question. I was going to talk a little bit. I don't like.
Oh, you're welcome to. This is the day to do it.
It is something that's going on, and it is something. I mean, I'm not going to ask you who you're going to vote for because honestly, I don't give a shit.
Okay, yeah.
I've always said, vote your heart, vote your conscience. Best man for the job, that man or woman. I can care less if it's fucking Bruce Jenner's, whatever he is now, running for president.
Sure.
And if he's the best person for the job, go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
The thing is,
but he's not though. He doesn't have a history of politics.
No, he's neither. Neither did Donald Trump have a career in politics, which is why I voted for him the first time.
Right. And okay.
And
we're not.
I don't mind saying it. I'll vote for him again.
Okay.
Because
I thought we were talking about how we were voting.
No. That's me personally. I'm not going to ask you.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Who are you going to vote for? Because that's up to you. Every vote is their own personal, private thing.
Yeah.
The way things are, the way things have been looking, it's going to be better if one stays than have a new person come in.
I disagree in that case.
Because that person, if you look at his track record, hasn't done anything in 50 years that he's been in a position to do something.
Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about Sleepy Joe.
Yeah. So my thing is this.
What good thing has he done?
Well, I don't think I can point to Donald and say the same thing.
I can point to a lot of things about Donald that he has done good since he's been in office.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I disagree. I disagree with that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fine.
I get to. I mean, that's just what it is. No, I totally disagree. In fact, I thought, to me, Donald Trump was a crook from the get-go. Like, to me, like, it was creepy he was in Home Alone. Like, because I'm from Detroit. Like, I've known hustlers and pimps, and to me, Donald Trump's always been a gangster. Like, he always has been, and he's like the new Al Capone. And it's no mystery that like he's part of like white supremacy. It's no mystery that he's part of this movement It's no mystery because he's associated with this. His family's deep in it, and whether he likes it or not, those people are going to embrace him that way. It's weird. It's not even his fault, really, but I think he's played to it. I think he's been a gangster his whole life. I think that's just what it is, and I think a lot of politicians are gangsters, so it's totally fine for him to be there anyway. So and that's why I don't necessarily disagree with people who are mad at the system and think a guy like Donald Trump can run it. The thing is, for me, the reason why I don't like Donald Trump, and I come from a family of piano tuners, and what drew the line for me is when he built the Taj Mahal, and the piano guy gave him $100,000 worth of pianos at the time, and it took 2 years later, and he paid him 70 cents on the dollar. Because Donald Trump has historically surrounded himself with lawyers. You ever seen Devil's Advocate? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Donald Trump. He surrounded himself with lawyers in litigation. He could avoid payment for years, and then when he does settle, it's 70 cents on the fucking dollar. That guy lost 30 grand, and almost his business went under. So by the time he chooses 2 years later, after working for fucking Donald Trump in the Taj Mahal, he's not proud of it. He's fucked by it. Mm-hmm. That's how that guy does business.
Okay, so the Democratic Party, what's your take on that?
Well, I can't give Biden the same shit because Biden, like you said, Sleepy Joe has been around for a long time as a shit. Mm-hmm. I think, and this is revolutionary radio, we need fucking term limits.
It's revolution, not revolutionary.
Sorry, this is revolution radio. We need term limits for Congress.
Right.
And shout out to the rapper Yellowbone. What's the guy? What's the guy? That's not the name. But he came out with the song talking about how your vote counts. I'm a patriot. I did 6 years Navy. Mm-hmm. I used to sleep in between the potential to carry trident nuclear weapons. And I was underweight during 9/11. So I didn't know if New York, Seattle, or Denver, wherever the fuck you're from in this country, was going to be a glass shield after that shit happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I just saw the world differently. And I'm probably one of 1,500 people of 7.5 billion who see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I know I'm unique. And I hate to see our country prostituted by a guy. I hate it. And as Sleepy Joe is, as much as fucked up he is, as fucked up as he is, you know what I'm saying? He still has throughout his life been able to be someone that people like and is not divisive. I refuse to reduce humanity down to two sides. You think there's Democrat, Republican? That's horse shit.
Right.
It's fucking horse shit. Yeah. It's like black and white. It's the most bullshit thing to reduce any humanity down to two sides. It's dumb. It's fucking politics. Poly means many. Many. Ticks are like scars. Okay? You get the fuck out. 3 sides? Get the fuck out of here. You CNN Central? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you mean there's an XY spectrum? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they don't apply in their own context, but the context is limited. People want to ego trip about what side of the fence you're on. That's like, right. And I apologize. I'm participating in a which is I'm going to tell you what's up instead of listen.
In your opinion.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. But
it's
an American culture.
You should never really apologize for your opinion.
No.
That's your view.
Not apologizing for is the rhythm of taking over a conversation and telling people what's up. That's the American way.
Well, no, that was the question that was proposed.
Yeah.
And you were giving me your answer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's always a two-way street.
There's so many other. I wish I'm fucked up that Bernie didn't get the election 4 years ago. The DNC fucked him, but he got like a lake house out of it, I think. So, and then like what do you call it? This year, I'm really sad that the DNC thought it was somehow there's plenty of candidates on the side, and we do with Biden. Like, come on, it's their guy. It's a whole G thing. Get these guys out of here. We need fucking term limits.
Honestly, I have never seen a race that only had 2 candidates in it.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Right. Well, there's a lot of local judges that go unopposed.
Well, no. I'm talking about it. Who gives a shit about the judges?
I do.
No, that's small beans. That's small.
No, but that's
I'm talking about the president of the United States.
Yeah, no, see, I disagree.
They've never been just 2 candidates running.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
and there's nobody opposing Trump, and there's nobody opposing Biden.
Right. To me, that's the problem. And here's the thing.
And that's scary to me.
But that's not our fault.
Scary.
But that's
it's not our fault.
That's the fourth branch of the government. That's the mass media. There's blue and red. There's Republican. There's donkey and elephant. I like wearing multicolored elephants because I know there's multicolored elephants on the other side. I'm not an idiot. You know, I don't believe people. Gray, I'm not gonna, but I'm not gonna reduce people down to just two sides.
Right.
But you simply just reduced the president down to one bad thing that you think he did and that you don't. So you're going to sit here and honestly say that he's done no good while he's done. No, for everybody.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm not a Trump fan, but it's interesting when you ask people, hey, oh, he's a piece of shit.
Michael tell everybody.
He's done nothing. Right. And he's done plenty. I don't even really like the man personally. Right. I really don't like him business.
Right.
But he's done a lot of good while he's in office. He's done things I don't fucking agree with at all.
Right.
But to say, just like, okay, Biden's done some good things over the years too. To say that none of them in a 50-year career.
Thank you.
But nothing significant has changed under that whole regime. And that's what they're trying to bring up. Okay? They have maintained power. All these scandals that keep. If you guys think there's nothing behind these scandals at all, I think a lot of it's being drug out and used for political purposes.
Right.
But if you think there's nothing in this backdoor handshaking shit, my uncle was a Superior Court judge in Indiana, and I never knew.
That's why I think the judges are important.
How much handshaking took place. And I actually, when I was 17, right before I graduated, was considering becoming an attorney. And I sat in my uncle's chambers and watched a man that I respected basically tell me, you don't want to do this. You lay down with snakes, you have to be a snake. I said, you trying to tell me you're dirty? He said, I'm trying to tell you there's nothing clean in politics. And when you get up to where you're appointed, it's politics. You're not an elected official.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
I've seen more. I will get this. We've gone to no new wars. I'll give the man that much, which is the first time in how
I really respected how he handled North Korea. I really
he's bringing a lot of people. In just the last couple of weeks, he's brought a lot of people to the table.
Right.
So, and I comment all the time. I think what gets me is this whole country has been taken over by emotionalism.
Right.
We let our emotions. Oh, I hate this guy. So we're unwilling to see any good things that he's done.
Right.
Okay. Or any good things that's Biden done. Is Biden a little creepy? Yeah.
Right.
Does he sniff little kids? Yeah.
Jesus.
You know what? I got to watch on a real. There was just one of him with a baby, and I was really watching what he's doing. And I know I tend to nose children.
Right.
If they're not mine, I won't just give them a kiss or something, but I'll nose them.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that's what he's doing too. He reaches down, kind of rubs them with his nose. I don't know. Maybe he's sniffing. Who cares?
I mean,
does that instantly make him a child molester? No.
No.
And people just jump to so much emotionalistic bullshit based on their political views. And it is because we've been taught to divide.
Right.
You have to pick one side or the other.
Right.
No, I can like things that Biden did and I can not like other things. And I can like things that Trump did and I can not like some of the things he did. I've never agreed with any sitting president. I don't think any of us would.
And I think it's ridiculous to reduce politics to two sides. I think to think that somehow Trump is all evil, I think is ridiculous. I think, there's a lot that's there to unpack. That's politics, And I think what we as this history, this country needed to do is realize just where things are. People thought we were over racism. Yeah. Like, oh, we got a black president, everything's fine. It's like, no, that's not it at all. And I think now we have it on Front Street. And we all get to unpack it accordingly, And the thing is, our kids, they can understand the conversation. It's the adults that didn't have the conversation as kids that can't break it down. It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Genocide is broken down in that cartoon,
right?
He's the last Airbender.
Yeah, because he was asleep for so long, and they killed him.
The Constitution is acknowledged. In that, it's a cartoon, and it's just life. It's just a cartoon.
The thing is, a lot of people would argue with your cartoon that it's anime.
Thank you. No, and I salute that because I'm an anime fan.
Because you know what, I call it a cartoon too.
Right.
It's
animation though.
Animation. It's
people say the same thing.
It's differently. There's a lot of different parts of animation.
You got to have an even sense about it.
Yeah. Definitely. Also goes back to even sense.
Yeah. I have an even sense about it. Yeah. I mean,
you haven't said a whole lot, Taz.
I'm not my mom.
He's supervising us.
My mom always told me what always divides friendship is religion in politics. So if you hear it around you, say nothing.
You know what
It's
my mom
always-
told me?
It's always wise to let people know that you're smart by being silent.
It's so interesting you
than
say
to be
that.
idiot and they say something.
Say something that
Right. So
proves
I don't
right.
say nothing.
My mom said
So he's-
religion, politics, and sense of humor. She had that third dimension to what you're saying, sense of humor. Because if you can laugh about things,
Right.
You know,
You know what my mama told me?
what'd your mama say?
You better shop around.
You
better shop around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me. My mom
There's
said,
a difference between politics and, but they
Yeah.
both will kill you.
That's right. They will. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Thanks a lot, you guys, for coming on the show, even though you were late and
Hey.
forgot about
It's an honor
the
being
show
here.
and forgot what day it was. And
It's an honor being
Yeah.
here.
You know,
You know,
But-
we gotta go. We gotta do a lot of post promotion.
he
We gotta
will-
get on Facebook. and
but
do
he
some
will
post
remind me that it is his birthday, and he will remind me about his roast.
let me say this.
But he'll forget about my show.
Let me
It's
say
very
this.
narcissistic of you.
Let me say this. I'm gonna say this to the camera, and I want y'all to understand this.
Okay, say it, Taz. You have the floor. Say it, Taz. Come on, Taz. Say it.
Like everyone else in this universe and in this lifetime right now, we all do what? Make mistakes. And I made one.
Every single Monday.
You know what you
See,
got?
people
You don't.
won't
You don't.
just-
You don't
people
respect
won't,
it.
people won't call you one motherfucker and just let you. They're gonna call you all the motherfuckers until you just be like, stop. Can I just be one motherfucker? I can't be all these motherfuckers at the same time.
Right.
Well,
you
you
know
know
This one,
No,
this
you-
one right
no,
here. Oh,
no,
he's gonna
you know
make
why?
sure. He's
You
gonna
know
make
why?
sure to pull every size out of the closet
Wow.
that's in the closet that you can't even fit.
Wow.
You know.
He's
You know
gonna call you all
why?
kind of
No,
motherfuckers.
you know why? Because you're my motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to take a motherfucker and beat a motherfucker with a
That's why you
motherfucker.
play the drums, right?
No, that's why he made that post, because he was talking about me and I was giving him a hard time.
Right.
So
You
I knew
You guys are politicking about a post.
I knew the
No.
motherfucker he was talking about.
Right. Right.
And I think you're the motherfucker he was going to beat this motherfucker.
Right. Take a motherfucker and beat a motherfucker with a motherfucker.
With a little motherfucker.
Yo, are you married?
No.
Do you
I'm
have
4 times divorced.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I have a lot of girlfriends.
All right, my man. You're married.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No.
So we're all motherfuckers.
Right. Take a
Because
motherfucker.
we're not gonna deny mothers to our game. We don't have our own shit going
Oh,
on.
no.
I just want to clarify.
Take a motherfucker.
And then sometimes you don't know your motherfucker till afterwards.
No, my wife
Right,
always
'cause you
told
didn't
me.
tell you
There's a lot
beforehand.
of mothers out there that don't tell you they have kids. Until
Right.
Till her husband
How's
walks
it going? Right. Until her
the husband
walks
walks in, you got to climb
Till
out the
her
fucking
husband walks
window.
in.
You got to climb out the motherfucking window.
Right.
Get in your motherfucking car
Yo.
They get the motherfucker.
and get these motherfucking snakes
Yo.
off this motherfucking plane.
Yo.
That's a whole lot of motherfuckings. man.
That's right.
Well, how you motherfucker is important to American English. I think motherfucking is one of those words that you get. It's like a doo-wop when you start to spray it.
You know what?
It's like saying absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and fucking it's like in its English, especially you hear it in England too. There's like a punctuation with it. Yeah, people want to like when they surf language, they want to like a few fucks off, if you will.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
On the plane.
Yeah. Oh, all in the conversation.
I think
all
I
over
was.
the place.
I think I
At
was
the
trying to
grocery
get away
store?
from all the motherfuckers.
At the grocery store.
and here we are,
Right.
just saying motherfucker. All
All these motherfuckers.
I was at the grocery store. There's a 2 motherfuckers fight about something about the line, and I was like in the corner of the warehouse because it's a big old warehouse,
Mhm.
and I could hear them yelling and screaming. And you know what it sounded like? 2 kids trying to talk over each other in the room in like 10th grade, 11th.
You wanna
grade.
know
Oh no, like when you're 10 or 11 years old, 5th or 6th grade. It's not like elementary school kids.
Mhm.
You want to know what's funny?
Huh.
See 2 drunk winos get into a fight.
Oh God. Oh,
Now seriously, I saw it,
Oh, man.
and the other one motherfucker told the other motherfucker, "Come on, motherfucker, put 'em up." They staggering around, and he said, "Put them up, motherfucker." You scared? The other motherfucker said, "Yeah."
Me too.
It's just-
Why don't we just have a drink and be
Yeah,
friends?
that's how I'm thinking.
I like to.
Oh,
watch-
Anne Marie Brown's birthday is today.
happy birthday!
Happy
Anne.
birthday, Anne.
Salute. This is non-alcoholic. But
Not
cheers
yet.
to you.
There's non-alcoholic. Yeah. Thank you
It's
guys
that
for listening to.
green apple Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's apple teenies are big. They were big.
That's a whole drink.
Apple tea?
That's a whole drink.
That is.
That's a whole drink.
Well, not
No,
really.
wait, no, Mike,
It's kind of a Tinkerbell drink.
That's a whole drink.
It must have became a whole
You
drink.
got to drink it like this.
Yeah, whole drink.
That must be a recent development.
What would you have?
It was a
Heavy
Magic.
Libertine.
It was a Magic Johnson's autobiography back in like 05 or
I'm
06. I
shutting my
wrote
face on that one.
Yeah, I mean,
it. You like the
anything.
apple tea? He's saying
Yeah,
his
I
book.
don't like
You don't?
martinis.
Oh, no.
I love martini. I love a martini.
I can't. I have a hard time
Dry,
with vodka.
shaken, not stirred. Yeah.
I
No,
like
I'm
stouts.
tequila
I love
girl.
it. I
I like
Yeah.
stouts and I like red beer.
Martinis and
I love
Like I
tequila
like
don't go
fruit
together.
derivations, like
I love
from
them.
Belgium, like the raspberry.
Tequila.
I used to like a blonde beer.
Yep,
Mhm.
they
It's
do.
like a light
Yeah.
blonde beer.
I like Labatt's too. Schlitz.
When I drank beer, I drank MGD.
Yeah.
I drank the hell out of MGD. I used
Right.
to save the bottle caps. I stopped counting after 2000.
Somebody made some rim covers with some MGD bottle.
MGD bottle
Yeah,
cap.
he welded them all together and put them on his rim. Wow.
That's
See, we got a new
There's-
light for you.
There's
yeah. Well, actually, this is going to be for
a
the
guy
second.
in Ohio
Second, you guys are more
who has
welcome to
bottle
stay for
caps
the second
like
half of
every
the
beer
show.
Well,
covering his whole car.
Mike's going to come on and talk about some paranormal stuff.
nice.
So if you guys are interested, you can kind
I
of
still have to check out the unacknowledged documentary.
you could be part of the peanut gallery over there,
All right.
and
Join me.
along with Terry and Shamika. There's a story behind that.
There's a story.
Oh,
There's
my
a story
God.
behind that.
That's
I get a
that's
text.
really funny.
I get a text. Check this out. I get a text from Terry. Right, she's looking
Right.
for a card.
Right.
Lost her card. I told her, okay, I found your card. He goes, okay, well, she wanted to go to the store to get some ice cream and some root beer, make root beer floats. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, okay, my card's at the house because I told her I found it. And she goes, okay, well, I'll just go with you when you go get Shaniqua. And I just
My
started
phone
laughing. That's what her phone said.
Oh, really?
She
Yeah.
told her phone.
No, the autocorrect is the
She
worst.
told her phone, I guess several times. It came out.
First one was Monica.
Monica, yeah, Monica came out once.
AI will fuck up a black woman's name. It will. It will.
Well,
And Siri does not have the lingo down.
no, it
No,
doesn't.
they do not have the right profile.
Man,
But
that's one
yeah,
of the ghetto thought names right
Yo,
there.
it's just, yo, I blame Siri and AI for having. They got,
all
No idea, I'm only
nails,
37.
long nails, booty shorts that don't look right, cigarette.
Yeah,
And
right.
Anne Marie Brown
The
says is
stereotype.
60 the new
Well, it's
40.
a lot better than Bendo, right?
No.
Yo.
The new 60 is always going to be the same 60.
Yeah.
The new or
That's
older.
right.
Hey, 60 is going to be 60.
That's
But
right.
it all depends on your diet. I know you look good, so why even ask a question? You can't perfect perfection. How you doing?
I'm 55, so
Plastic surgery can only go so far.
that's right.
Right.
That's right. I paid him well.
Yo.
You go try slam you some more.
Yeah, no.
No.
I was thinking about Joan Rivers. You know, rest in peace.
Oh God.
She was the
Yeah,
She was the spokesperson
Joan
for plastic
Rivers
surgery
was
quite a bit. But in her last special,
No,
you know,
Diana Ross was.
I think
Diana Ross and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
well, I think some were more popular in their own thing. But like what I respect about Joan Rivers was how she just engaged audiences. I think more often as a comedian,
Mhm.
and she would do certain circuits, like how she did in her show. She was in Louis C.K.'s show, you know, when Louis C.K.
Yeah.
was doing, and she was doing some big stage that he wasn't on, and they like met afterwards and talked about it. I just mad respect for people who do plastic surgery and like, you know, they kind of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And well, I'll tell you what. And
That's
then, in closing on this, I want to give a real
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
shout out to Sean Connery. May you rest in peace.
Oh,
Double 007, yeah.
Yeah, 007.
Most
Darby
memorable
O'Gill.
James Bond.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People,
Yo,
which is the first movie he sang it.
wow.
Actually sang it.
Yo, that's a big holiday. I remembered in for me it was what's that he did with Nicolas Cage, Alcatraz,
The Rock.
The Rock. I really liked him in The Rock.
Yeah, he was good.
He was cold. That was really cold in The Rock. You see his daughter in the park here after all that.
Yeah,
That was
he
cold.
turns around just
Yeah. Yep. That was cold.
okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, so thanks a lot, guys, for coming on.
It's an honor.
And
Yeah,
everything.
thank you for having us.
And in all honesty, I do love you guys. I know we got a special relationship going on and stuff,
Right.
and got a lot of good things coming up for yourself and your band.
Yeah.
And
thanks for being here first, man.
Thank you. Man.
Yeah, the revolution, baby. We're glad to be here. We just started.
I mean, he just took me in. I mean, it was a blessing when I met this cat, man. It was a blessing. So all the stars are sent to
There we go. There we go.
yeah,
it's like you can't.
We're gonna keep this show going, man. You can keep going like
Yeah,
this.
man. I just feel a connection to say it. You know what I mean? Because I like the old preachers used to say back in Mississippi.
hallelujah.
One of these old days, one of these old days, we won't have to eat stale biscuits and cold grits no more. Won't have to eat.
All I know this is
That's after churches.
Man. well, good. Well, it's good that you feel sick. I'm really. It's for me being new to like just Las Vegas in this circle of people that I get to know. It's really comforting to see how close you two have become, and just to be invited into this whole thing. So thanks for having us.
No problem, man.
I will speak for the band in that regard. Thanks for having us.
you're very
I
welcome.
know it goes without saying.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, it's all good.
Yeah. So what we bringing Mike on?
We're gonna get as soon as Mike's ready to do it, we'll take a little break here.
Yep.
And
Salute.
we'll catch you guys soon, man.
Yeah. We'll do this again.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can see me now. My man,
There's lights on now. You can see.
Not.
This is just to hide the ghostly figures. That
You know what? Fuck y'all.
No, it's
I'm not
funny.
saying-
In Dolomite, he summed it up, right? And it was Wesley Snipes' character who did it, right?
Yeah.
He said he was trying to shoot. He was trying to get the lighting right, and Eddie Murphy's character played Dolomite. He's like, that's racist. He's like, no, it's not racist. It's a fact. White skin reflects light. No, he said black skin absorbs light. White skin reflects light. It's a cinemagical reality. I think he says the other way around. It's just what it is. And you got to have light because it absorbs light. And back in the day, if you didn't have proper lighting,
but right now we're just the reversed Oreo cookie.
Right. He gonna always tell me to smile. It could be dark as hell. Taz, smile so we can see.
I know.
Yo,
What was it? That was I don't run them over,
honestly,
It's dark out here.
how do you like the hat? How do you like the hat? How do you like the hat, though?
Oh, you like
I like the hat.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
pretty
I want it.
snazzy.
Yeah. Notice the chocolate. There's not too much difference. This has got like chocolate and Hershey's Kiss kind of. You know what I'm saying? You make it work. And then look, the cream.
No, I think he's digging
The cream make the
hole
shirt
than I
pop. The cream make the shirt pop. Come on, you ain't ready for that. That's some weaponry right there. Yo, you're welcome. I gave him the hat today. That's what I'm saying. This is it. That's a weapon of mass distraction.
Thank you.
All you need now is just your snare drum over your shoulder.
Yo, you be like the Desperado.
The Desperado with a snare?
Yeah. He had a guitar, until him.
Yeah, he had a guitar. You have to bring out
Your old snare.
drum cases.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry around every show. I used to walk around with my sticks every day.
Yeah, I know.
I used to walk around with them every day. Now I just
You have them in your bag and you still carry them
I
around.
still have them in my bag every day. I've never. I don't know. I've never.
That's the honor meeting you, man. There's not many cats.
Have my snare sticks. Yeah, I've always.
I know you're trying to wrap this up. We got to wrap this up.
She loves smoking pot. I guess she's talking about Joan Rivers.
According to me.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. I think that's true. I think she did smoke weed. In fact, I think they smoked weed at the end of the skit.
Well, they look like they all smoked a little bit more than
probably.
weed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No. I think the joke was they were gonna go fuck. That was the joke in that skit.
I think that was. Yeah.
That was the joke.
They look like she smoked more than weed. Don't really look like the daggone Joker.
Wait, what?
She don't look like
Betty
Joker.
White. Betty White was the shit.
She was hilarious.
Shut up,
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace.
Right, guys. So take it easy now.
Yep.
Get the hell off my stage.
Right. Appreciate you.
No, I love you guys.
Love you
Appreciate
too, bro.
you guys.
Bro,
Love
thank you. See you
Always, man. So you have it. Sense and sensibility.
Sense and
Well,
sensibility. That's
even
what it is.
sense.
Even sense.
Even sense here. Somebody's phone.
Yeah. Your phone.
You got your phone. So we got Mike Lizelle is gonna be coming on here pretty soon. He's just getting a few things set. He's gonna be ready to come on, and we're gonna talk some poltergeist stuff. And so you guys stand by for that. So hope you guys stay tuned and listen in on that. Here on C4OC Radio, Revolution Radio, Las Vegas Mondays. So we'll be here with you.
As soon as if you want to sit down.
I'm just trying to quit autofocusing. See how it autofocuses, and then the lights throw it off when it does it. See how turn it off.
Yeah, he's making a few minor adjustments. He'll be here. He'll be here shortly. Let's see. Let me check over here real quick. What's up, Smurf? Thank you so much, everybody. I say share this with whoever you want to share it with. You got 10 shares already. That's cool. Appreciate you guys. Love you too, Smurf. Really appreciate you. And Denny and everybody else, C4OC, you guys are really cool. Appreciate you guys. And we're gonna be I'll be working this week on the new website, which is going to be revolutionradiolasvegas.com. I believe, hopefully, if that name's not already taken. If not, we'll probably just add a little number in there or something. Maybe put the 2 back in or something. But anyway, yeah, like you said, it's just like he was saying, it's a two-way street on voting. I mean, vote your heart, vote your mind, vote for who you think is going to be best for the country in your own opinion, which is really cool because that's the right that we have. And if you don't exercise your right, it is what it is. You got to stop and think about that. So,
You can do it.
what, you guys gonna set up and play now?
Did you really think I was going to move?
No.
Yeah. So as we get some things going on over here, so let's see here.
I don't know.
What else can we talk about here?
Mary had a little lamb.
Oh, yeah. If I could sing and dance, I could probably sing and dance with you. But I can't. Maybe I'll get Taz over here and drum on the table for a minute.
Want me to play?
No. Yes, but no. Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
I'm helping with the focus.
I'm trying to turn off my autofocus and just put it on the menu. Oh, we have the light on.
Yeah.
It's still doing it. It just did it again.
Huh. Yeah. So as soon as we get this all a little technical stuff going on, let me see here.
I'm good because I'm out of the scene.
Yeah. Well, you're out of scene on. No, you're not. You're right there.
Oh, now I am. Okay.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a delay.
Slightly.
Yeah. See there. On YouTube, you're not. So unless I do that. So.
That works.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a fun night. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ann. That's right. Just vote your heart. Vote what you think you need to do. And as far as term limit goes, yeah, I think there does need to be term limits in Congress because it was made to be a privilege, not a career. So,
Bravo, bravo, man.
That's what it was all supposed to be. Whether you love and hate Trump or you love and hate Biden, it is what it is. Do what you got to do. That's what I think. Do I like Trump? Trump can be a pretty big jerk, but I think this country needs a jerk.
Right.
That's what Chris Rock said. Y'all forgot what a real bully acted like, how a real bully believed.
Oh yeah. The thing is, it's funny because, I would rather have a president that's a bully and that stands up for what he believes in than to have a president go on an apology tour and start kissing everybody's ass. Don't really, that doesn't sit well with me. I'm a patriot myself. I am ex-Army. So it is what it is. So we just got to do what we can to make things better, honestly. And, we could do that through music. We could do that through art or anything else like that. We've just got to get things set up to where, like I said this morning, just bring everything back to good, screw all this other bullshit stuff and just let's start treating each other like human beings. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that. But yeah, all the views and everything that I have, they're my views of my guests and everything. It's just our opinion. It's not necessarily the views of C4OC Radio or Revolution Radio. We kind of, I stand by what I say, and that's just my point of view on things. And of course, my guests have a right to their own opinions as well, which it's their right. That's what this is, America. We have a right to do what we think.
And if we all had the same opinion, talk shows would be really boring.
Right. That is true. Talk shows would be boring.
Life would be boring.
Life would be boring. I agree with that 100%. And it's we're coming up on a really not just the voting time or anything, but we're coming up on the holiday season. Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you. We're coming up on a really serious time of year. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of issue during this time of year. And I just want to let you know there is help out there if you need to talk or anything. There's hotlines. Or if you want my personal number to and you want to just talk to me or yell at me or vent off or whatever, if it keeps you from doing something stupid, by all means. But yeah, this is a really silly time of year. That's really there's more suicides this time of year than there is any other time of year, which is it just we just got to make sure that we do things right. Smile at somebody, give somebody a high five or a fist bump or hey, even a hug if you don't know them or whatever. If you're not, if you have a mask on, you want to give somebody a fist bump, elbow bump, whatever. Spread a little bit of love because love goes a long way and it helps a lot. Even, you can make somebody's life that way. It's really rough when, you have a lot of people that I am close to that is going through a lot of depression, and it's not easy. So it's really hard. I go through it myself, and I got asked a question the other day: how do I get up in the morning? How do I put on a smile? How do I keep being me for the day? And I really don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. I get up and I do what I do, because if I don't, I just sleep all day, and I don't want to sleep all day. Although sometimes I want to sleep all day. But it's all I ever pray for is a world that only knows faith and love and peace and prosperity. That's very true, Ann. Thank you for that. It's that's the American dream right there. The pursuit of happiness, live long and prosper, all that other stuff. And it's just, it's rough when you don't have an outlet. Unfortunately, I have a very strong circle of friends that I get to talk to, and Mike's one of them. K-Man's another one that I can talk to about things. And so I've known Mike a lot less than I've known Chris, but me and Mike have gotten pretty close in the last 6 months, 8 months, I think it is.
About 8 months now.
About 8 months, yeah.
Right at the start of the whole COVID thing, you ran and got that speaker for me.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was in March. So.
Yeah, that was in March. Yeah. So since March, Mike's helped me out with a lot of things. And it's, I've come over sometimes and and not even talking about whatever's bothering me. It's just in a conversation that we've had. And I leave here feeling a whole lot better than I did when I come over.
I'm hard to be depressed around, aren't I?
You
I make
are.
You work at it.
You are very hard to be depressed around. It's just like, God dang it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna make it easy for people. So.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I think we got everything all worked out on that.
I just got to press go for my audience there too. So we're gonna broadcast both.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I want to welcome you to the show. The kind of
you want to press go live on that one? I don't think it requires anything else from me.
Okay.
I always do it from a desktop, so I don't know. Phone thing's new for me.
Phone thing's a little new.
Already done.
Yeah.
You hit it? You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So
I'm good.
yeah.
She's like, I'm fast.
Oh yeah. So here we are, Mike Lizelle. Thank you for coming on the show. Like
I
always.
always love. I'm here in a little different capacity tonight, but
yeah, a little bit different. We talked a lot about the mind mechanics and stuff and hypnosis and stuff. I think tonight we're going to be talking about your paranormal experiences. Oh, check my bat. I think my phone died.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah, it could very well be.
No, it's on.
that's weird.
Oh, it's on.
It just says it's paused.
I having trouble playing this video. It should still be playing.
Well, hopefully we're still recording the people.
Well,
we know we're going out on your show anyway. So.
Oh yeah.
You want me to shut it off and then try again?
Yeah. If you want to. We'll just keep going. Yeah. So you had your ETS.
Yeah, Everything Strange is. I've been a paranormal investigator, researcher for about 30 plus years now.
There's probably nothing you don't do.
Don't do windows.
There you go. That's a good thing.
I don't really do politics or religion at all. So
Right.
Those are things I definitely
Okay.
don't do.
Is it coming up now?
I know YouTube's rolling, but
Yeah, YouTube's rolling. This one's probably gonna be.
I think Facebook's
Did you restart it?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right.
Facebook's just being fun.
Yeah, I just got the message saying that live.
Okay. I haven't gotten it yet.
Please hold testicle difficulties.
Testicle. Do, 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 do.
It's part of any streaming anymore. I've watched Tony Robbins go through it. All the big Grant Cardone the other day was having and I mean these guys have budgets of hundreds of thousands of dollars and all these techs around and stuff still goes crazy. So
Right. Oh yeah.
bet your average guy with just a cell phone.
Yeah, right. Did you read that poem that I put up today?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. That's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
What's your thoughts on that?
Deep. I mean, you could tell you were in the pocket, as I want to say it, on that one. So, where did that come from in your life? I mean,
last night. I woke up. Well, because of the time change thing, and I woke up at 9 o'clock thinking it was midnight.
Oh, so that's something you did real recently.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did that last night. I was just thinking thinking about a lot of things that have gone on the last week,
Right.
and stuff, and so I just posed that question basically to myself and try to answer myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't do a lot on the mind mechanics side of things. I tell people all the time is we just get stuck in, I feel this way. And then we don't ask ourselves, why do I feel this way? Or what have I been thinking? Or is there another perception or view I can take on this that will make me feel different? Or how do I even really feel about it?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we feel how we're taught to feel.
Right.
And don't question it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's I didn't get a lot of comments on it, but I got a likes. A lot of people liked it or loved it or whatever, and but it's it was, can't say it was bothering me, but it was just
something you need to get off your chest.
Just to get off my chest, yeah. And sometimes to get it off my chest, I'll write, and I'll write something, and so I think we're back up here again. So,
well, for my viewers that are already with me, I actually have to do an introduction for you because they've never actually seen you on.
Right.
So all the strangers out there, howdy strangers. That's what we call anybody that views Everything's Strange. We all have our little T-shirts, and we sell our T-shirts that say "Looking for Strange," or "I'm a stranger," or "I'm with stranger," or you know, our little marketing campaign. But that's what all the
looking
people
for strange.
And we're looking for strange things. It's not. I mean, you read the tagline on the back. It says the paranormal is way more than ghosts. You know, and that's what we've always done it on. Is we'll touch on any paranormal or even supernatural subject. You know, which supernatural is just the things that exist within nature, but maybe go beyond. A huge volcanic eruption is a supernatural event.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, but people get those a little confused sometimes, you know. But it's funny because when I say, "Oh, you're a paranormal," oh, ghosts. I've investigated way more than that. I mean, time loops, time slips, you know, all this kind of stuff didn't interest me from a very, very young age. But and it's a hobby that kind of turned into a thing, you know, the whole production issue of it, and even intersected with the hypnosis and the mind mechanics and all that over the years. And I think my viewers have heard it a lot, you know. But Steve here runs a local radio show now going international, and it's I'll let him introduce his own site. And this is Captain Steve-O. For my viewers that don't know him.
And it's not just they don't call me the captain just because they want to call me captain.
He's actually a captain.
Actually have a 1,600-ton master's license that I got through the Coast Guard. I ran ships for about 30 years. And through my 30-year career, ran ship, and I have 20 years on my license. It was a lot of fun.
So the title's official with him.
Yeah,
it's not just official. For fun.
Yeah, I do have the sheepskin for it. So I put in my time.
He's told me some interesting stories. We'll have to get into some of your sea stories sometime. They're pretty,
oh yeah.
There's quite a few of them in their own right worthy of. You should write a small book on.
Right. That's what I've been told.
Experience at sea, you know, because people don't. It's like the whole My Vegas Life thing. You know, they don't realize what it's like, and people living other people's lives vicariously through books and everything else is just as important, because there's a lot of people who don't get out and experience the world like that, you know, and never will.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. I've always said this, you know how to tell a sea story from a real story. Mm-mm. Sea story always starts off with, "This ain't no shit." So that's how you can tell the difference between a true story and a real story.
For your viewers, as far as the Everything Strange,
yes.
If the one is a show, and the everythingstrange.tv is just about the show. And we really haven't done much production work in the last couple of years, so you're not going to see a whole lot on that side. If you want to interact a lot with the paranormal, talk about the paranormal, you know, look over videos, that kind of thing, all in one place, and talk with other viewers and people all over. I mean, we have groups from the UK and Australia, you know, that get on there and basically just share their stories and interactions and bounce ideas off each other. And that's everythingstrange.news, NEWS. So you can make an account on there and talk galore, you know. The other one's just, it's kind of boring. It's more just the episodes. Yeah. A lot of those have been pulled because of copyright stuff that we're still dealing with. But.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And for Everything Strange, I'm working on a new website for my radio station. I'm affiliated with C4OCradio.com in Orange County. We deal in a lot of independent music. So it's unsigned bands, underground bands, stuff like that. So anything that has to do with music, you know, underground music, unsigned music, that's what we're all about. And we promote them and push their music. We get to premiere music. We got to be in pretty good with Payment Entertainment, which is pretty, if you heard of Soil and Tantric and Puddle of Mud. Yeah. Those are some of the bands that are under this label, and I got to be in good with them. So they're always sending me new music from Soil and Puddle of Mud and all that. Anything new coming out, they send it to us. And I'm kind of proud of that. I mean, they kind of send it to us first before they send it to
get an exclusive.
I get an exclusive on it. So it's actually pretty cool. We got to go on tour with Tantric for about 10 days a year before last. That was, for me, that was an experience of a lifetime because, I mean, I've followed Tantric since they first came out in early 90. And they're a great band. Hugo's a great guy. Of course, they've had band member changes and everything. Hugo's a constant on it. And really good bunch of guys. But that's what we're really all about is about music and everything else. And I'm trying to broaden everything out to where I'm reaching out to everything that's local. And
right.
That's why I call this.
There's it's amazing the diversity that's in Las Vegas and the people and the things they've done and do, and especially with the entertainment field, being here, but you get a lot of wide backgrounds, even like with Taz and some things he's done in his life.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he's a very interesting person. He's gone through a lot, and he's done a lot.
He's good people.
He is very good people. I give him a hard time. I give him a lot of shit.
Oh, you have to.
But he's my brother. He's my brother. I love him. I love him like he was my real brother. So it's just, and it's very it's rare nowadays that people do make a rapport with people. Like we used to when we were younger. I mean, we had our best friends all the time.
Right.
And now it's just like people are like, okay, I know who you are, and whatever. But when you get to know somebody, and really know someone, like you and I, we've known each other since March.
Right.
And
seems like a lot longer, doesn't it?
It does.
We've been through a lot of experiences together. Yeah, very short amount of time.
Oh yeah, it's really fun because and some people take that as a diss or something. Right. I've known you for 8 months. Well, yeah, it seems like forever since I've known you. No. Okay, is that good or bad?
It's been intense. There's been a lot, especially with the world events and everything.
Right.
It's added a whole new dynamic to things we've experienced together. So, because we've had a lot more interaction and not a lot of outside distractions.
Right.
Because there's been not a lot of things to do.
Not a lot going on. Yeah.
And I think this is just having a little tight knit community here that we've had has helped us get through a lot of things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you said, because there has been a lot of depression in people that are normally not depressed, and I've even experienced a little bit of it because me, my mind just works completely different. The negative goes bounces straight off the other way. But and for some of because I get new people on mine every time I stream, I get a lot of new people. So the new folks that come on, be sure to. But I don't have somebody reading me your comments tonight, so I do get to them. I do answer. Question and answer, anything you want to know. And if you're a first timer, say hi, put a wave on there and say I'm first time on Everything Strange, and I'll give you a personal shout out. I try and interact with everyone. So.
Oh, definitely.
But so how I got in the paranormal? That's probably the $1 million question. How did I?
Yeah.
I think it started with an interest. I grew up in a house in Indianapolis, south side of Indianapolis, that was, should we say, very unique. Because I know number one, you believe in ghosts or that's real? And I said, listen, when I was a kid growing up, my family house, which had been there since the 1800s, I think early 1800s. And for those that want to look at it, it was on the corner. And when I say on the corner, I've got to really post some pictures of this, of Bluff Road and Epler Avenue. And it's been torn down quite a few years now because my grandmother, when she passed, she had actually in her will that she did not want to get stuck in that house. The house was so full of experiences, we'll just list it at that
wow.
People that didn't believe in ghosts and that would shake their heads, but it was kind of a running joke. I would bring them over and say, go upstairs, top bedroom, first bedroom on the right. And nobody after my great grandfather, Grover Lozelle, passed away. The family said that was his entity. He was a horrible drunk when he was alive.
Wow.
And I guess he was quite mean in death if you believe that he was the one that was. But you could go into that room and there was no tricks, no setup. And girls would get their hair pulled. People would get slammed against the wall, hot breath on the air, people being touched. And it's just you in the room alone. Most people would not make it a couple minutes. Some would come down with this just blank look on their face. Others would run screaming out the door and never return. So,
wow.
But I never had anyone say, well, I don't believe in ghosts anymore after that.
I bet.
But it was a running joke. My Uncle Harry, who was my great Uncle Harry, my grandmother's brother, was injured in World War II, had a piece of shrapnel in his brain. So one of the things that was if you stayed there at night, I guess my great-great-grandmother, Grams, would wake Harry up because he slept literally all day long. He wouldn't even get up to eat or go to the bathroom. So she would, Harry, get up, Harry, in that voice, Well, you could go there years after her death, and at a certain time every night, like clockwork, you'd hear it, just like it was yelling up the stairs, and there's nobody there. Wow. And, of course, Uncle Harry would come down and talk. Would you? And I said, Uncle Harry, Grams is I know. And she's still bugging me in death. I said, she's looking out after you. But people wouldn't believe it. And you could show up there. And, I mean, this is long before, there were a lot of paranormal shows on TV. It really, in those years, you remember, you didn't really talk about it too much. You were kind of considered crazy if you were outward about believing in it at all. So, I mean, nowadays it's everywhere. There's alien heads, there's ghosts, everybody believes in everything, or it's okay to talk about it. It's widely socially accepted. But yeah, we were known. And I mean, it was a house that nobody even wanted to come to on Halloween. It was that scary. Wow. But the interesting thing about the house is we're Bluff Road and Epler on, I believe, Bluff Road side. The house was built literally to a point. And when I say this, guys, I can never, without getting a picture and showing people, there was a bathroom. We made a joke of that. If you go in and there was a stop sign right there, the house got hit many, many times over the years. Wow. Semi went into it. A thing full of nuns, believe it or not, one time went into the house and several of them were killed instantly. Oh, wow. Because of accidents at that corner. And part of it was because of the way the house was situated. And it was just the one had a higher speed limit and people blew the stop sign. There were a lot of issues, but the house was in the paper over the years many, many times with buses, semis sticking out of it. My Uncle John, when it was on the fire department there in Perry Township, and one of the stories they told me, I was a very little kid when this happened, but Grams, the one we were talking about that woke Harry up, lived in a hospital bed downstairs in the front room that faced the main road. And I guess one night the big concrete truck or something came through and had smashed through the side of the house and had Grams pinned up and she wasn't moving. And Uncle John was one of the firemen that showed up, and he said, "Oh, Grams is dead." And one of the other firemen said, "Nope, she's still sleeping." She literally slept through the truck coming in and hit her bed, pushed it up against the wall. Part of the house fell in, and Grams was still asleep. True story. Crazy, but true story. So
I've slept through earthquakes. I probably don't think would ever sleep through a truck crashing through my door.
And that's where I saw my, I think I was 16 or 17 one summer. I stayed at the house, and I was sleeping downstairs, and Grandma, my grandmother, would sleep in there. She had emphysema and a bunch of other things, and she would cough and hack in the middle of the night horribly. But I'm sitting there, and I could see into the kitchen, and I see a man walking around the table. And I mean, look just like you and me, but Grandma was a couple feet away, and I said, "Grandma, there's a man in the kitchen." Now, my grandfather passed away when I was like 6 years old, so I didn't get them. And she says, "Well, what is he doing?" And I said, "He's saying something about cigarettes." I mean, I heard him. And the part that shook me is she goes, "Well, that's your grandfather. He does that a lot." And I'm thinking Grandma's on too much medication. I said, Grandpa's been passed away for years. Now this is past the time, being a child. I hadn't been in the house a lot, so kind of the stories and everything passed over the years, and I hadn't experienced. Didn't know it was still going on at that time. And I looked over, and I mean, he just waves at me, and I hesitantly waved back as Grandma's saying, "Well, when he finds his cigarettes, he'll go away." And he holds up the pack of cigarettes, and then just like a mist, it was gone. Wow. And that stuck in my mind ever since, because I've even asked myself all the things I've seen over the years and experienced in houses I've been in, and the sanitarium and castles over in Europe. I didn't doubt what I saw. In that moment, I was like, did my mind manufacture that, or did I actually just see my grandfather? And the interaction is what got me. Is he looked right, I could tell he was interacting with me. So my views on what ghosts are and what, there's many different types of apparitions and replay events. And I think now there's also, I think we touched on this a couple weeks ago on just a brief subject on something, but there's a lot of evidence that I think there's actually an aspect of time in there. And the multiverse theory that there was a case in it was northeastern England or whatever years back, that had to do with the Warrens, and they were taking this girl. Long story short, she comes running out of the car, goes up to the house. She said, "That's the house. That's the house." And when the people answered the door, they were just like white. They were so in shock. And she says, "I know this house." The young girl, I think she was 17 at the time, she says, "I know this house." And they said, "Well, of course you do, because you haunt it." And they had seen her full-bodied apparition with children and everything in the home. And she says, "No, I dream this house all the time." And what she was having in her dreams turned out is exactly what they were seeing. So, they think science and parapsychology and all this now thinks that when we time travel, or we even multi-universe travel when we're in a sleep state and we release ourselves, our pineal gland gets into a lot of different theories. Wow. But it's an interesting thing now on, was that actually a haunting, or a lot of what we see? Are we a ghost in someone else's house simply because of our dreams? And I know I've had several experiences where I've been to homes, I thought it was a deja vu type event, but I knew every turn in that house, and I'd never in this lifetime really been in it before. But I could tell you where everything was, And I always thought it was a deja vu type event. But now I'm wondering, is that deja vu us traveling somewhere else or into another world line or something while we're sleeping?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
interesting theories.
I've had dreams like that on different boats.
Yeah.
And stuff, and there's some boats that were haunted.
Yeah.
I could say, there was one that there was an engineer that had a spot for every tool, and if it was out of place, he put it away. Even if you were using the tool and it was out of place, if you just set it down for a minute, he'd pick it up, put it away. Engineers would come up and tell me, like, "I hate working down there after midnight." Why? I mean, your shift's till like noon. You're starting your shift at midnight. Why are you afraid to go down there? It's like, well, every time I grab this tool, and I had heard this story from another captain, and I said, well, the engineer had fed, but he always made sure before he went off his shift, everything was put away.
Right.
And I really didn't. I kind of believed it, but I didn't believe it, until I actually saw it. I was looking there, and I didn't see the tool, get up and float away.
Right.
It was there 1 minute. I turned around, and the next minute it's hanging up.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
it's in a different spot.
Yeah, it was put away. I'm like, okay, that's weird. All right, so like, okay, we'll put it away. We're still using this. We'll put it away when we're done. We promised
to put it away, and then it quits jumping back.
Yeah, I've learned. I've kind of talked to things like that. If I didn't really know if it was really real or not, I would. There were things that would go on in a house I was in.
Right.
And lights would turn on and off and everything. I'd say, all right, you guys, if you're gonna play with the lights, start paying the electric bill.
Right.
And then it stopped.
Right. When you address it.
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
I've been touched many times. People have said, "What's the scariest? What's weird?" My ex-wife now hosted the show with me for a long time, Anna. And everybody her. And it's funny because most people don't. She actually sees dead people, or she thinks they're dead. She doesn't know. I'd been with her a while, and we were driving one day, and I heard her and her mother talking, and she says, "Is that one of them?" And Mom looked over, and she was like, "Yeah, because I don't see him." But she says they never interact with her. They don't talk to her, but she'll literally see them on the corner, fully dressed. Just sometimes they're dressed in different time periods. She said it's weird. They'll have on clothing, then she knows that they don't match here.
Right.
But no one else will see them. And she sees them just like a regular person. And she's done this since she was a little girl while growing up under Russian rule. She couldn't talk about this. She tried to when she was very young, and they went to put her in a state mental hospital. From there on, she was like, nope, no more talk about. So even when we first met, knowing that I was, into the paranormal, she really felt hesitant to bring this up because I might think she's crazy. And I said, listen, I don't make judges as well. So is it an external event? Is it something you're producing? Is it something that's interacting with your vision and your cognitive resources? Is another possibility. That's one thing with Everything Strange is probably different from a lot of shows. We don't see a blip come across. Oh, that's an orb. It's a spirit. We don't know what it is. We keep everything open. Interpret things for yourself. There's really no right or wrong answer. I argue with people online all the time because they'll get on, that's a fake picture. And I always say, really? Well, what part of photo forensics did you use to determine that's fake? Because how would you really know nowadays what's fake? I mean, CGI has gotten so good that you could have a valid, a lot of the things I work for, I do a lot of photo forensics and a lot of video forensics that I actually work with software that's designed for that. You get mosquitoes tonight, and what's weird, I know places that are, have you had them? They're buzzing around me.
Yeah,
some big ones too.
I thought there were flies.
No, there's some actually.
Vegas doesn't have them.
Now get them landing on me. That's one thing nice about the West, guys. Anybody that doesn't live it, we don't deal with mosquitoes. Like
right,
ever.
Exactly.
We don't have them.
Yeah. Well, we had that one show that we did. We were over there on the opposite side of the room, and there was a bunch of orbs.
Yeah,
and people were telling us there was a bunch of orbs.
Yeah, and the
lights weren't on.
Right.
We had it was just kind of dark.
And I mean, I can produce the effect sometimes by stomping and dust part. I mean, and it's a thing I tell people, like, it isn't always the same thing. It's like with what they call hauntings. I mean, I've been in so many places where there's activity going on, and I've definitely put them in different categories now. There's what I think are coming from an entity or a disembodied entity, or is it demonic, or is it replay event? And what replay events are, like the big castles that you see. I've definitely formed a theory over the years that stone, especially, stone absorbs. It's like you can go out and you touch a rock that's in the sun. It's usually a different type of stone absorbs. Well, what they built out of, usually it absorbs a lot of energy. Well, light is an energy, and you emit light and you interfere with, long story short, the theory is that certain things trigger, and just like a projector can project something on a wall, those stones can project that experience over something that's been absorbed. Happened over the lady ghost. I forget which castle it is over there, the one where she's coming down. That's like a timed event. They pretty much see it on a regular basis and always looks the same. So that's what we refer to as replay events. Something that's happened. A poltergeist is just a general for an energy that seems to have a certain amount of, I'm not going to say sentience behind it, but it has an intent. And usually there's either extreme turmoil within the home or the location that's affected, things like that. Linka and I, my second wife that you met, had a very interesting story about how we kind of got together. We were friends for just a couple of years, and it happened on Halloween.
Oh, wow.
I know it's not me. People are like, oh, you make these stories up. Absolutely, I couldn't script them any better if I tried to make them up, but we were out riding in the hills up here, just north of Las Vegas and Red Rock Canyon, for those that live around here know. And she wanted to go riding on a different trail, so she kind of got us a little lost, but me knowing direction, I said, well, let's cut back this way. And just random, I go up the trail, and I'm on a four-wheeler with a helmet on. It's loud. It hadn't dark yet. It's getting right. And this was 2008. I'm going up now. I realized later, I heard a voice in my helmet saying, help me, down here. Now, I realized later there's no way I could have heard a voice audibly over this. Was a very loud two-stroke four-wheeler, having a full helmet on. You could be standing next to each other and yell at each other. You really wouldn't hear what you were saying. But it made me look down, and I looked down in the canyon. There was about 1,000-foot drop, and there's a truck on its side down there. And I could see where the truck had rolled down, and there was debris all down the side of the hill. Well, I bring Link up to that point, and I told her to wait. Somebody's, rolled down the canyon. They were yelling for help. Still hadn't dawned on me. I go down there. There's a pair of legs sticking out of the side of the truck like this, straight up.
Oh, wow.
Turned out the guy had rolled down and gotten pinned right here on the sternum. He was pinned. The truck was crushed in. It was sitting on its driver's side door. His head was down where the accelerator and everything would be, and his feet were sticking out, and he was pinned. Turned out the police told us, I guess he'd been pinned down there for about almost a week. And he had expired 2 days before we got there.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know this when he's, no, doesn't hit me at first. Hey, I'm hearing a voice down there. The minute she stays up on the hill, I hike down into the canyon to see if they need help. And I'm trying to talk the whole way. The minute I touched the truck and physically put my hand, and she saw me slam back. It was literally like a sledgehammer hit me in the chest.
Oh, wow.
Felt like a big lightning bolt, kind of, but the impact is the best way I could describe it. Felt like a sledge. Took my breath away. I couldn't breathe for a couple of seconds. You ever fallen, had your wind knocked out of you? That's how it felt.
Wow.
But there was this overwhelming sense of fear, dread, anger, everything all at once.
Wow.
So I think that maybe that whatever he went through I was the first living thing that had come. He was out there trapped. They said he was alive for probably 5 days.
Oh, wow.
trying to free himself. He had tore all his fingernails off, scratching inside, trying to free. He was just pinned so weirdly between the top of the seat and the hood had crushed in. So, you know, and eventually I think they said he just gave up, and since he was upside down, the blood all ran to the top, and of course he, you know, expired.
Wow.
But what's weird is from that point on, I'm hearing this chatter in my head. And as I'm walking back up, and I'm full blown, I'm in tears, and it's from the emotion I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Lenka thinks that I know the guy, you know, or know who this is. And we've been friends for a couple of years, but we'd never really breached the paranormal argument at all. You know, she knew it was something I did. She never dealt with death. She hadn't, you know, nothing like this. She's like, are they dead? Are they dead? I said, yes, you know, quite no. Now, here it is, someone that I've just started to get a little close to, and we've been spending a lot more time together. And I'm talking to someone that isn't there because I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, I understand. You didn't kill yourself. You know, he's literally full blown chattering in my ear. I'm hearing all this at this point. Now I'm just rolling with it. And I looked and she goes, who are you talking to? And I said, I'll explain in a moment. Hold on. I said, I'm not leaving you because don't leave me. Don't leave me. And tell them I didn't kill myself. Tell them I didn't kill myself. Now, I don't know at the time who he's referring to or what, but I mean, I could feel the anxiety from, you know, whatever this was it was communicating. And then he kept telling me a name over and over, a name, you know, and wasn't a full name. It was just one name. And out of respect for the family's privacy, I don't even mention it. But turned out later that they came and I found out that was a nickname he had been called because when we go get the police, you know, the fire department has to come down, and I walk back down with the guy that they pull bodies every week out of that canyon from suicides. And most people don't know that to go out there, but if you go out there, you have a good chance of running across some people buried bodies out there. There's been murders committed out there because they go to dump things for. I found out a lot of spooky shit after this, you know, that happens out there. And I'm like, okay, maybe we won't be riding as much out here, kids, because me and the kids used to go riding on the 4-wheelers there every weekend, you know. So no more alone. It's always with Dad, and you know. But the firefighter goes down, and he was down there for a couple minutes, and he's, phew, man. And I said, what? He goes, you don't feel that? And I was kind of smiling. I knew what he was talking about. And it was just this sense of heaviness is the best way to put it. You know, that this experience this guy had been through, you could feel it in the air is the best way to describe it. Wow. And I mean, and it was like pressing down on me. You know, it was so intense that now all this emotion and everything was coming out. And I said, yeah, you should have been here for the beginning. It was a little rough, you know. And he says, I got to get out of here. He goes, I've been doing this 25 years. I've never felt this strong. You know, we need to go back up top. So the police show up. And of course, they take a statement from us on how we found him and everything else. The officer was actually being kind of agitating. And we've been out here looking for this guy. We've flown over. And I said, well, if you look, it's actually the truck had pinned itself up under a big tree, you know, one of our desert trees that grow out here for people. And you probably couldn't see anything from the air the way it was. But long story short, and I said, well, listen, I know I said, put this name in the report. It's important. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. You know, the whole way, well, how'd you hear him? He literally thinks something crazy is going on because how did you discover this guy? And I said, it's all in my statement there. Oh, you heard a voice. Yes, I did. I heard someone talking to me. There was no one else here. I mean, we could see down in the whole canyon. It was, you know, I said, then I heard it as I was walking back up, and I said, he kept saying this name. The cop's like, he who? I said, well, I assume it's the gentleman in the truck. And he looks at me, he's dead, in case you didn't notice. And I said, I'm quite aware of that. I said, you may not believe in that kind of thing, but I said, you know, I've dealt with the paranormal. And so I've said, all I'm telling you is that I was told that he did not kill himself. And I guess that come to find out that he had left to go hiking, but he had left under circumstances that his fiance had just broken up with him that night.
Oh, wow.
And it turns out after the accident report, they found out he came down after dark. And this trail, guys, is just wide enough for a car. I mean, and that's what had happened. There had been heavy rains the week before. He didn't see in the dark with his headlights were, you know, out farther, that there was a notch out of the road. So the Jeep or Durango, it was a Durango, I think he was in, caught the edge and flipped down in the canyon.
Oh, wow.
And he was down. Nobody discovered him. They couldn't see him down there, you know.
Wow.
And, you know, not a heavily traveled road, that one anyway.
Right.
And so, but I guess he really wanted his family to know because he thought that they were going to think that he did go and commit suicide. The guy's truck was full of camping gear and his stuff for, you know, climbing. He was a avid mountain climber and all that. And there's a nice little peak at the bottom down there that the climbers go use. So, but Linka was real tore up about it, and that night is when we come home, and she, I don't want to be alone, so it went from a friendship to, she cooked me dinner and said, please stay with me, and I stayed the night, and just, she fell asleep in my lap, and next day I tried to treat it like nothing happened, and she decided she was going to continue. And went to sleep in my lap again, and our kind of relationship. So yeah, we started over finding a dead guy.
Wow.
So it was a pretty intense moment, a very spiritual, changing moment for her in her life because I never dealt with death or anything before. So, but and we've talked about it many times since. And she's, like her dogs have passed on, and she's seen animal psychics and things like that. So the whole Everything Strange deals with everything like that. We really try and run the gamut of and talk about everything paranormal that we can. And we don't discount anybody's, things they have. It's not like we sit in judgment. So if you guys want to get on the site, if you've had any, feel free to open up to us about anything because we're willing. We don't say, "Oh, you're crazy," or anything like that. Right. We'll listen with an open mind and say, "Hey, well, what are the possibilities this could be?"
Oh, sure.
And we also are not arrogant enough to think that we know everything enough to really. Because I have people ask me, "What do you think on that?" I said, "Well, then that's what I'll give you. Is my opinion of what I think something may be." But as far as knowing for sure, no, I will tell you, I know 100%. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, aliens exist. We've had that talk.
We've had that discussion.
I can tell you without going into a lot of detail that I am absolutely. I know for a fact that yes, they do. So, and not all of them are out to bring you up in their ships and anal probe you and everything else. There's a lot of different agendas, and mark my words on this. In the next 10 years, it will become painfully obvious. There'll be some events happening just the next couple of years. And if you notice, that's why the Pentagon's allowed those videos to come out, and they've said, they've openly said it. People are still waiting for disclosure. I got news for you folks. The disclosure has already been made. 19 countries 10 years ago released all their UFO files. The U.S. has been one that hasn't opened, but the U.S. put it in a privateer's hands. Our good old guy here, what's his name? It's escaping me. The one that owned the budget suites and all that.
Oh,
Bigelow,
Bob
Bigelow owned. He got on 60 Minutes and openly said, "They're here. They've been here. They're right under your nose." He laughs about it. It's so comical to him that the average person still says, "Oh, there ain't no such thing as UFOs and aliens." Absolutely, there is. And UFOs are everything from craft that we own and have reverse engineered, and it's fly around on a daily basis, to ones that are coming interdimensionally. Not everything is from another planet,
Oh yeah, there was one that Chris saw, and it was like those kaleidoscopes things, and it was this
changes its shape and
it kept twisting. And that's all it would do. Yeah. He took some really good video of it. And he sent it to me. I was just like, wow, and some stills.
Right.
And then I looked into it, and then I was watching History Channel a couple of months ago, and they had that exact same thing on it that they were going to talk about.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit. So I told Chris, I said, dude, you got to watch the History Channel. I'm like, man, they got your shit on there. Same thing you've seen, and it's really weird. But yeah, as far as, paranormal, other paranormal stuff, both my grandparents have passed, both sets of grandparents have passed. And my aunt, my uncle, I could tell when my uncle's kind of hanging around me because all I want to do is laugh.
Right.
Because he was a joker. He'd always say that he was going to, we were at funerals when I was a kid. He'd go, hey, he's going to pop up. He's going to pop. Scare the crap out of me. Right. I am 8 years old. I'm going, somebody's going to rise up from the coffin. So when I'm sitting there looking at him in his coffin, I'm going, he's going to pop up. He's got a trick in there to freak everybody out. He got in with the coroner and everybody, and
that's funny. You're waiting for a guy to come up at his own funeral. That's a testament to how much fun someone had in life.
Oh yeah, and I kept reading that, and a lot of people that were around heard me. I was talking to my brother. I was trying to be quiet about it, and my little cousin, turns on and goes, "Right, when's he gonna pop up?" And we start laughing about it. And then his sisters came in and they were really crying. So it was like, okay, we gotta go. Can't be around this too much. But yeah, I could smell my aunt's perfume at times whenever she's around. And we were really close. My grandmother, the same thing. And her, she loved RC cola, and I could hear that can pop. I'm like, all right, Grandma, how you doing?
And your olfactory senses, and that's when people think, well, how come? Because we have an incident happens a lot in this house where one person will smell something and the person right next to them won't, and it's very poignant to this one. They're like, you don't smell that, and we have what we believe is an entity in here that interacts. And the person that I bought the house from, one time I asked her without to validate the experience. I said, have you ever had any paranormal events in the house? And she describes exactly what we were experiencing and a few other things. So that validated for us, instead of me just saying, hey, this happens, and her saying yes, yes, yes,
Right.
And this is one of the things we do when we investigate too. If there's multiple people that have had experiences that, like, we'll go to someone that lived in the home before, and they'll tell us, like I was telling about the family home earlier, right? It's now been torn down. Well, for many, many years, because my grandmother passed away back in the late 80s. And what's interesting about it is, she said, I want this torn down because I'm not living here with all these people in the family that are stuck here. I'm not getting stuck. I'm going to the afterlife. I'm not getting stuck in this house.
That's funny.
So, because she was basically shut in and couldn't go anywhere for 13 years of her life, there at the end. She was pretty sick. So,
she was stuck with him then.
Yeah. She's like,
she didn't want to spend the rest of eternity there.
But I noticed several times when I'd been back home that I would go by to see the old homestead, or the old property. And some of the neighbors that lived there. There's a kid I grew up around and still live there. And I kept seeing this for sale sign in the yard. So the one time I caught, there was a lady in the driveway, and I pulled up and I said, is the house for sale? Oh yeah, do you want to see it? So she takes me in and we go inside real quick. And before I even had a chance to explain to her, and I said, well, actually my family home used to be here. And I said, let me ask you something. I said, every time I come, this thing's for sale. And her head kind of dips down. I said, is there any? She said, before you even ask, yes. And we have to even disclose it. She said, nobody's lived here longer than 6 months.
Wow.
She said, because there's a lot of activity that takes place in this home. I guess she had sold it several times.
Oh, wow.
And she said, you sure you don't want to buy it? Your family doesn't mind, obviously. And I said, well, I've got enough to worry about right now. With, more houses than I know what to do with.
Wow.
So, but I've even thought about it over the years of just putting up, if it's still that.
A lot of the paranormal investigation shows and stuff. Some of them are really good. Some of them are really well put together, and I think are really, show the real thing.
Right.
I've seen. I won't say the name of the show, but I've seen one that they had a guy in there that would, if nothing was going on, he would
location where something's super active, and you can go on and you'll sit around 10, 12, 20 hours, several days, and nothing happens. Wow. You may not even, and you'll get EVPs maybe later when you go back and look at your footage, you'll hear a voice or something, or catch something you didn't see that was on one of the cameras. But your average ghost hunt per se, nothing really happens. So most of those, and think about it, would you sit and watch the show, for hour after hour if they didn't at least build up the suspense of something happening?
Right.
So,
well, then, yeah. I don't think they actually go in there and in one night experience all that.
No. Yeah. And even with EVPs, we did an experiment one time where we had 10 sounds, what could be voice, and instead of because yes, the way your mind works, if you see something written on the screen, then you'll more than likely hear that. If it sounds somewhat like it, your brain will start to hear that.
Right.
Okay. We did an experiment one time to prove that. We took 10 different EVPs that were pretty pronounced, and we gave them to several people, like 5 people, and all of them had different responses. They heard different things, So is there something to the phenomena? I think absolutely. There's a whole, I think one of the best, if anybody's really interested in life after death experiences, and one of the best series and most well-documented series of experiments that's ever done was called the Skull experiments. And it was started in England, and it went on for 5, I think, or 10 years, and actually came to the US. And they went into a room, did this phenomenon. They had psychics come in, they had skeptics come in, inspect the room ahead of time. They got stuff on film phenomena. I'm not going to go into all the details. You can watch. It's a lengthy documentary. But the Skull experiments, SCOLE, and I think it's named after the town in England or wherever they were. But they actually came to a place here in LA, and they were in LA for weeks. And several 100 people, I think, came through there and said, wow, the things that they've experienced, lights, the interaction, things being produced on film. Even I think Edison communicated on his machine to contact the dead, and gave him a thing that made it easier. And they worked on this for years to be able to open this line of communication. And I'll let you watch the documentary. It goes into great detail on how they did it, what they did, and why they did it. And it still is probably one of the most intense investigative documentaries to this day.
Wow.
On the afterlife, and that I would say would turn your average skeptic, because there were big skeptics that went in there and said, I cannot explain at all what I've seen, and I don't think it's any form of trickery whatsoever, but I don't know what to put on it, because it was phenomenal, the amount of evidence that came out of it. So a big long comment there. Then
yeah, we got sorry, we got Anne Marie Brown. She said, after my brother died, I felt a weight at the end of the bed. I knew it was him saying goodbye. I was sleeping and I felt a tear on my cheek. I reached up and felt the wetness. He was there.
That's phenomenal. And you know what? That's a very empowering thing to believe. You know that I tell people all the time. Don't my all my children was with my first wife, and she passed away 4 years ago. And I tell my kids, it doesn't matter what anybody else. What do you believe? And do your beliefs empower you? And I tell people, put down the cell phone and pick up the soul phone, because even things with like remote viewing and all this shows us that we definitely that connection does not leave us when we pass on. We just have to learn to interpret the signals that are coming in. Because I think most people say, well, I hear my loved one's voice in my head. Well, that's more than likely that, you don't hear it physically, but you hear your thought in their tone and everything. Just say, absolutely, if we have that connection, same as mothers do now, they know when their child's in trouble, if it can surpass, space and time here, I'm sure it can surpass whatever plane exists between this and the afterlife, and it brings people a lot of great comfort. In the skull experiments, they talk about, they go to he's a man from Italy. I can never remember his name, but he invented a radio or took a radio, vacuum tube radio, and and the voices that come through are even in the accent. They're in other languages that he doesn't even know, and they'll talk. And people still go to him to this day and talk to their loved ones on this radio. And they all are very, very adamant that that's my loved one's voice. Exactly. And they talk to people on the other side. There's a woman on Facebook, I forget her, that communicates with her son through EVPs on the phone or whatever, and he leaves his mom messages, and she talks to him. I've been doing it for years, and she's open about it in her Facebook group and everything. And communicating with Adam or something like that. I forget. It's kind of interesting to watch. And she lives completely in power. She's no longer alone. She got to the point, I guess, like she wanted to commit suicide. She was very upset, and this has now brought her out. People are like, well, what do you think of that? And I said, what do you mean what I think of? I think it's a very empowering way to live. I think we've talked about it. I don't even really call death. I say passing on, or moving on to the next experience, because who said we ever had to think about it in a negative way? We were simply taught, and that's part of our societal beliefs, that we have to mourn and everything else. I've definitely lived among and been among other societies where it's actually celebrated as a great step. That's why I love what the Irish do. They get together, they drink a lot. It's funny. I ever tell you that joke? What's the difference between an Irish wedding and an Irish funeral?
The amount of alcohol.
One less drunk. And I'm part Irish, so I'll But
it was
they celebrate the life, and everybody's happy, and and to a good degree. There's a certain amount of sadness, but I'm saying don't get stuck in it.
Right.
If you knew, and that's the one thing that over the years I've done a lot of, talk to people. I had a good friend that was pronounced dead, woke up in the morgue 3.5 hours after he was pronounced dead. And he flatlined, and I don't know if you guys know, they don't just move him to the morgue right away. They sit on a table for a while, and then somebody, moves him, and then they take him down. He woke up freezing, pounding on the door, thinking he was going to die inside the cold room because nobody had come and got him. And they were quite shocked, but he could recount things that were going on in the hospital, what his doctor was doing right after, he left the room. And he said that until he woke up in his body, he was wondering why everybody was ignoring him. He was walking around the hospital trying to get people's attention, and no one would talk to him. And then all of a sudden he remembers waking up, and then we did an actual full-length interview about it and talked about it at length, And this guy wasn't religious at all. He wasn't very spiritual. He was after this happened. He was a very spiritual person, But The one thing in all the people that I've ever interviewed that have had life after death experiences on any level, they all share one thing in common, and that is none of them fear death whatsoever. Several of them even say, "Oh, I want to stay," and the variety of experiences is different too. Not everybody sees the white light as projected. A lot of them have similar experiences.
Right.
Like him, he never saw any light. He said, "I just walked around the hospital and didn't understand why nobody would talk to me." He thought he was physically interacting with things. He didn't see himself walking through walls, or he had perfect recall of everything that happened in that time. He said time was kind of distorted. He said, "I didn't think I was there for 3.5 hours." And I asked him, I said, "Well, to you, what?" He said, "I thought it was like 20, 30 minutes." But when he started thinking of all the things the doctor, because he really kept trying to get the doctor's attention. Mm. And the doctor said, "I did have some weird happenings. My clipboard kind of tipped over when I put it in the tray, it knocked over. And, there were some inconsistencies is the best way to put it. And it's funny, if you actually go into any, like I've been in several ICU wards where people are taking, their last, and they can tell you things going on in the hospital. The hospital staff won't talk about it. Mm-hmm. And they're told not to talk about it because I guess it's for people's religious reasons. They don't want to offend anybody, on a religious level. Mm-hmm. But they see it all the time. They hear stories about people telling them what's going on. And it's a patient that's never left his room or he's never been in that hospital, but yet he can tell you where things are in the hospital, things that have gone on, Mm-hmm. And sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it really doesn't, but they put 2 and 2 together later. So,
me and my brother took a trip to New Orleans a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And I took a road trip out there. And one of the things we did their ghost tour.
Okay.
And that was really interesting. It was really, really cool. Went to the cemetery, saw Madame Laveau's tomb.
Yeah.
And a lady was filming, and then when she looked back and looked back on her video, you could see orbs floating around. And I was looking at the same, because I was watching as she was filming, and there was nothing on the screen, and until she played it back again. That was pretty cool. But they gave us this. So they told us to download this app. It's an EVP app, mm-hmm. And so it'll say different words.
Right.
So on the way back home, we stopped at this hotel. We would stay at the Best Westerns. My brother wanted to stay there all the time at each one, but the ones that were there in Shreveport were full, mm-hmm. And all the decent, the Comfort Inn, Best Western,
Red Room,
all, everybody was full for some reason, except for this one creepy looking hotel. There was 2 cars parked in there, so we looked in there and said, "Look, well, we're just going to go to sleep. We're going to leave in the morning anyway." And so he goes, "All right." So we go in there. It was like $50 or something. It was really cheap. Walk in there, and it was just a really creepy, like a Bates Motel. It's really creepy. So we didn't get under the covers. We just slept on top of the sheet to get undressed. So me, 3:00 in the morning, like an idiot, I turned this thing on. I'm awake, so I turn it on. And so one of the things it came up, it said military. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, so I'm talking to my phone now. Like, okay, you're in the military. What branch? But it wouldn't tell me what branch. It just said, it said military, then it said help, then it said murdered. I looked at my brother, I turned my phone off, all the way off, woke him up, said, "Dude, you ready to go?" And he goes, "Yep." Just real quick. He goes, "Yeah, I kind of heard you playing with your phone a little bit." And I went, "Yeah, let's get out of here."
And it's crazy when you start doing some of those and you get some actual intelligent responses to what you're saying.
And it was really weird. It was just like, okay, well, what do you need help with? Mm-hmm. And it said murdered. Murdered. I'm like, okay.
Were you murdered?
I didn't really want to know. Just like, okay, I'll go. We need to go. Got our bags, and we remembered what the guy told us was: if you go into a room that's haunted or anything, don't leave. When you leave, walk backwards out of the door. Mm-hmm. So that way, whatever's in there doesn't know if you're coming or going. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't follow you. It doesn't attach to you and follow you wherever you go. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, okay, we gotta back out of here, man. He goes, "Oh," I said, "No, turn around and walk," because he was just gonna walk out the door. I said, "No, wait, stop, turn around." He goes, "Oh yeah, huh?" Turns around. So we both turn around and back out of the room, closed the door, went to the checkout, and we just threw the key in and we left.
I've
But it was
heard a
really
lot
creepy.
of different, like when people to play with Ouija boards and you're supposed to dismiss, turn off the session after you've done that.
I've never played with one of those.
I don't either. I don't believe in opening myself up as an antenna. I've seen enough to know that there are, because
I've heard different stories.
I think it's, if you are someone that's sensitive anyway, and you're just saying, hey, whatever's floating by, it's, if there is this whole spirit realm out there, and what are we going to do? Just open up and, with my luck, at a crapshoot.
Right. Catch on to Marie
I'm going to pick up the angriest damn thing that comes along. You're too positive. Let me attach myself to you. And I've actually heard of investigators doing that. I mean,
really?
I'm not scared of anywhere I go. It's weird. I mean, I'm literally, the crew's always made fun of it because, Anna, I think it was one cute thing with Anna is Anna would scream at anything. Anna was so frightened all the time, anything would set her off. And I don't scare. I mean, you can put me in the creepiest situation in the world and I really don't. I'm not afraid of situations, I mean, the Louisville Sanitarium, most people, I actually convinced that as fun as to go up on the third floor there. They won't even let most paranormal investigators. And there was pretty heavy feelings up there. I'm not going to say I've experienced fear from something that's put it in from the outside. And I mean, it's weird when it hits you. It's like it feels like you're dying. It literally creates that reaction in your brain.
Wow.
But I've trained, there's a part of myself that says, no, this is external. Don't panic. And I don't get the fight or flight response from it. I've been able to control it. But as far as like turn off the lights and tell spooky stories and anything, I can get startled every once in a while of something. But as far as like being afraid or creeped out, I've never really experienced that. I kind of dungeons over in Europe and castles. Really? I'm like a kid in a candy store with castles. I love castles.
Oh, me too. I love it. I was telling Terry, is one of my things on my bucket list is to go to Transylvania and spend the night in Dracula Castle, and just to say I did it. Now if I come out freaked out and a different person, then everything.
I know people have done it. It's never really been that much happened to them. They've just done it more as a. And a girl I dated for a short time grew up in the town right there below the castle,
wow.
Her whole life. And it's funny, I said, did you ever? She's, no. For years, they didn't let people in it, or you couldn't go in and sleep in it overnight. That just started, I think, a couple of years ago that you could actually do that. But I think some of the creepiest things I've ever investigated, black-eyed children. I've ran into some very interesting, and I mean people that aren't out to get any press, that are like, I will never answer my door in the middle of the night again. One of the creepiest things that they'd ever experienced. And
wow.
I don't even know if it's funny. I've run into a lot of people that I hear of the paranormal, but never heard of the black-eyed children thing, and there's a lot of different theories of what they are, where they come from, that if you invite them in, they can take you over or drag your soul out or something, but there is a huge number of people that have talked about that they get that knock in the middle of the night, and it's usually them saying, can we come in? We're lost. But they have solid coal black eyes. If you actually look them in the face, and they're, usually trying to disguise their appearance in a hoodie or something like that. But they're flesh and blood, from what they say. Wow. I've never experienced it, thank goodness. That would actually kind of creep me out a little bit.
Yeah, I think me too.
Showing up at my door, Mister, can we come in? And I've got that. I'd want to say, hey, wait a minute, let me see your eyes.
Who are you?
What are you?
Do I know? Yeah, like, what are you? It's a choice. Yeah, Anne has a lot of pictures of orbs. That's really cool. I took a picture of a friend of mine.
Yeah.
That was he's from Cleveland. Came out here, visited, took him to the Grand Canyon, took him to the west end of the Grand Canyon. They have the skywalk.
Right, yeah. The west end.
But he was sitting there, and he's deathly afraid of heights. I mean, he's a scared shitless of heights. But he wanted to get as close as he could, and I was taking pictures of him with my phone. One of the pictures that I took, it was clear, and the sun was kind of going down, and it had kind of like a weird angle, but it wasn't bad. So I took this picture, and the picture was clear. But when we looked at the picture, we were going through them, and it was on my phone. There's a really bright orb that's just right in front of him. It's like right here. And I was just like,
was it perfectly round, or was it like one of those?
It was oblong.
Okay.
Or, yeah, kind of not really round, but just real.
Right.
It was kind of tall.
We call them like flashes or
Yeah.
mists, or some people say some are real bright, some are kind of misty. But...
Yeah, this looked like a reflection
Okay, yeah,
off of something, but there was nothing around it.
Right. Yeah.
And he was just standing there, just like, I think maybe that was your guardian angel saying,
yeah,
no, don't go any further than this right here. I'm gonna stop you, you know. And he goes, yeah, because it was weird because I didn't feel scared. I was that because he was like maybe 5 feet from the edge before the drop off, and he was just like, because like I kind of felt safe right there, but I know I couldn't go any further.
Right. That's
I'm like, it's okay. And I had that picture, and then all of a sudden I went to go look for that picture. I can't find it. It's not in any of my, because I posted it on Facebook, and it's not there anymore. But
both of my grandfathers, my grandfather on my dad's side, talked about, he was a World War II P-47 Mustang pilot.
wow.
And he got shot down. And he told me the story just like it was plain. And, this isn't really when we were even, he just had always told it over the years. And because, I asked him, Grandpa, I knew he was sick at one point. I said, "You're going to die," and he's like, and it's funny, our whole family talked about death like it was just something to talk about around the dinner table,
Right. Oh,
and he said, well, yeah, sure. And I'm not afraid of it. And he told me why. And he said, when I was a Mustang pilot, I got shot down and I water ditched, and he said that he kept trying to get his buckle undone, and he couldn't, and the plane was sinking down in, he was under the water, and he finally just gave up. He said, okay, this is it. I'm going to die. And he released his hand. He said, as soon as he did that, he felt the buckle come loose, and there was a pair of hands under, and he got lifted up out of the water. He looks up at her, and he said, she had like a glowing, he said he thought because there was salt water in his eyes or whatever, and he was, had to intake, and he was coughing a little bit. But he said she spoke to him, not through her mouth, but just said, it isn't your time. You have more to do, and you'll be okay. They'll come rescue you. And he told that story up, till he passed, just like it was something. And then, now my grandfather on my mother's side, I never met. He passed away before I was born, but was a Polish immigrant, and he was a tool and die maker, very no-nonsense type of guy. Very quiet, wouldn't talk about a lot of things. But my grandmother said that he would not go out on a full moon because he had actually wholeheartedly believed in and had seen one time and survived an encounter with a werewolf.
Oh, wow.
So he would not go out, and told my mother and everything. My mother to this day is weary of the full moon because of what her. And she said, my dad's not one to take any type of, he's not one of those people that fantasizes or makes anything up. He's a very logical man. But she said he would go nowhere on a full moon.
I have never met anybody with that.
I haven't either. That's the only person I've ever heard that. I've heard of people that say, "Oh yeah, I believe in them," but nobody that ever actually had an interaction or was that wholehearted about it. That said, no, they would not go out on a full moon. And it makes me think every once in a while when I see one, like the other night, I'm like, "Oh yeah, maybe Grandpa was onto something."
It was blue too, so it's like, it made it even worse. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Shadow people are scary. Only seen them when I was at my step-parents' house. Wow.
I think a lot of us have interactions with those. That's one thing that I don't know if you know the story on what they call shadow people, but if you go back through and look at a lot of the writings and older, I think the Indian people call them kajins or jins. Mm-hmm. And for years, I actually thought I guess they're an actual race of beings that survive. I guess they're faster than us or whatever. There's a lot of theories behind it, but the one that I've heard is that they're not like a spirit being. They're actually a race just like us, but they're not human, but they're not completely spiritual. But they exist and they move so fast that we really can't see them. And I guess that's why when you catch them out of the corner, they run or they try and get out of your field of vision, because a lot of people believe that has something to do with. But they live, I guess, off of negative emotions.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
That's what I've been told. The main theory is that that's why they'll create. And then when someone's feeling angry or something, and they'll see those. But they love turmoil. They love anger. They love fear. Any negative emotion that I guess they actually feed. Their existence feeds off of that.
Oh wow. So. I've seen different things like that. Every once in a while, I'll see something. I mean, you'll see something at the corner of your eye, and it's like,
yeah, we all say that too.
Yeah.
Now that feeling that you're in a room and you're being watched, but you just can't place it.
I've had feelings like that in some strange places. Pennsylvania is a really active state.
Mhm.
Not just
There's a reformatory there that is very, very, very active. Is the best way to put it. I use the word haunting very loosely anymore. I try not to ever say just haunted because I think there's a lot of different reasons for activity somewhere. So I just say active.
Right.
If a location's very active, has a lot of activity, like here, we've got a lot of different.
Oh yeah.
When
there's a ghost tour here, isn't there?
In Vegas,
yeah,
there's several of them actually. Yeah. Believe it or not, there's several of the hotel rooms here that, believe it or not, they will not rent. I haven't been able. None of the hotels will let me come in and cover it.
Really?
But one's in the Luxor. The person that they threw. There's a woman that committed suicide from the upper tiers. She threw herself. And for people that don't know Vegas, the Luxor inside the pyramid, the rooms actually come out, so you can throw yourself off one of the rooms, and you'll land down on the floor below.
Can't open the windows, but you can jump off the ledge.
You sure can. And the inside, on top of the guests running around, gambling and everything else. And that has happened. And there's deaths at hotels here are never in the news. They will not put them in the news,
right?
Because of the bad thing for tourism. They won't talk about it.
Right.
But I guess it's been on one or two ghost shows where there has been talked about that this guy brought in, and it's a nice suite, and he brings in him and his wife comes in and they put all their things in the closet, and then they turn around 30 seconds later because they actually called hotels and it was all gone. All their clothes disappeared, their luggage was gone, everything, and they were the only ones in the room.
Oh wow!
And hotel security, of course, looks. They're the only two that go in, and it was. And there's been several in that one same room, and that's the room that the girl threw herself out of and committed suicide. Wow. There's a couple here in town, and that's one of the ghost tours. When you do, if you guys come to Vegas and there is ghost tours here, and they tell you about the rooms. And it's funny, you go in and ask the hotel to rent that room, and they won't rent it to you. So, and it's in several hotels here.
Huh.
So,
wow.
Zach Baggins at his little place talks about it. He's got that little haunted museum that he's got here in Vegas. For those of you who don't know, too, Zach's store is actually here.
Okay.
My wife has a crush on Zach.
I've seen. I've never been.
My ex-wife.
I've never been in.
It's interesting. He's there a lot himself personally, and he has a lot of haunted objects. He's into some crazy stuff. But Zach's a unique person. He actually came when I was working on the strip. He came to several of the shows, and has been in there just hanging out as a person, when he bought his new car, he was out talking to people about it one time. But
yeah,
again, network television.
I think my phone died.
Did it?
I think. Oh no, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, it's yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of different things that I've experienced with stuff like that.
Right.
And it's. I mean, I never really did. Really couldn't talk about it with my parents.
Right.
Because they were like, they were real religious
practical people
and it's like, no, that's the devil. And
of course, everything's the devil if it doesn't fit within the religious.
Oh yeah,
concept.
and I'm just like, okay, so I never really did mention something like that, but I've seen different things that nobody else has seen, and it's been. I'm just like, okay, and then I kind of ask. I mean, I used to pray a lot and everything. Was like, okay, why am I seeing this? And then a lot of people don't quite understand. I mean, I still don't understand why. But
I think some things we won't understand in this lifetime. We just won't. It's when people ask me about the whole heaven and hell thing. I say, listen, I'm still open on the subject as far because I was raised, Berean Baptist, hellfire and damnation,
right.
And then a lot of things didn't make sense to me as I became a father, my love for my children, etc. But I will say, because I've said, you go to other countries and exorcism and everything is openly practiced.
Right.
And it's talked about and discussed, and it's not here. Everything's pushed towards it's a mental illness. No, there's some definite things that you see that people, things about doppelgangers and people being possessed by changelings. I mean, there's a lot of different things. My son had a thing where when he went in one time for rehab, and he said, in there, Dad, people are at some of their lowest points, and it's almost like. But he said he had some things with like a succubus that came in and he said, no, I wasn't, he says, I know you've definitely taught me enough about my mind to know what my mind's making up or what may, and he said, this was absolutely physically happening to me, and it was crazy. Some of the things, and he feels that's followed him around for a while. And I said, well, and I hear this a lot about people that drink very heavily and everything else, that they have some, what I would call paranormal associated events a lot in their life. it's a broad field. One of my favorite things is time travel. Time slips. There's so many things about them out there. So many things that have happened and that have been recorded and things that haven't. That people just talk about. And I think we've all experienced some weird moments once where we're like, did that just happen? Or
right?
Did you see?
Oh yeah.
And when you get into the documented things that have happened that have actually been caught, there was a guy a couple of years ago, I guess, that traveled to another timeline or something and met himself and shook hands or come back and did something.
Huh.
But that time travel movies, I think, fascinate me more than anything. So,
oh yeah.
I think that's one thing that you guys in the next 10 years that I talked about is we've had the ability for time travel and teleportation since the 60s.
Wow.
And it's been held back from us. And, they get into this whole thing with the cell phones and but there's a lot more going on there that I think in the next 10 years, life as we know it will be so, even us having conversations like this that people say, oh, that's so fringe, or no, it doesn't. It'll just be commonplace knowledge anymore. Definitely the fact that we are not alone in the universe and our place in the universe, which I think a lot of people are going to have trouble accepting.
I think you're crazy if you don't think we're the, if you do think we're the only thing here in the universe.
Well, I mean, even more origin, because we're so, and think about it, our whole domain has been us, this little planet, and we're the top of the food chain, basically, so to speak, and we're not by any means.
Oh no!
So it's going to really reset. We're going to have to take a huge, as a whole race, we're going to have to take a huge piece of humble pie.
All that
for everybody.
Yeah, because there's been, it's like,
and it's time. I think we are 100 years behind, like the documentary talks about. We should be in our development because these technologies and everything have been hidden from us for so long. I mean, it's on that word. There's a thing that just hit. I know it's on Amazon Prime, guys, but it's the people that are in the documentary. It started with the Disclosure Project, the amount of information and classified documents that they now have and everything. You can't ignore it. Look for yourself. Keep an open mind. But it's called Unacknowledged is the name of the documentary. It's by Dr. Stephen Greer and a bunch. And
I think I've seen that one. It only goes up so far and then it stops.
Yeah. But the things that they do, and he says at the beginning of the document, he said, I've told you for years, one of you needs to start coming forth to people. But even the higher ups, Richard Doty, who's the guy that was with the CIA, even on the documentary there, he alludes to certain things. Yes, we did this. Yes, we did programming. Yes, we did these. They're open about it. They have the documents now that are been Freedom of Information requested, and they're out. And it'll blow your mind. The things you'll see in writing that are on the FBI's website and CIA and that have been released, but people just aren't taking notice of them. And it makes you go, holy shit. They've been holding so much back from us. It's not fun.
It's kind of like, brings up the question of how come we haven't gone back to the moon?
Right. Absolutely.
We've been there already once.
That's talked in there about that.
Why can't we go back? You can't say that we lost the formula.
And there's very definite reasons for why we haven't been back there.
Kind of makes you wonder if Transformers are real.
They go into Mars and, why. I mean, there's what has been thought of for years is wild theories in the next couple of years will become fact. And some of it already has. And it's weird that the mainstream media is not going to talk about it. It's out there.
Well,
they're not denying it. It's not even a fringe subject anymore. But this documentary definitely addresses some very, very unique points that people have not heard. And I think for all of us as a race, we need to pay attention to what's in this and start asking more and just let them know that we're okay with what we're finding out. Because when it becomes widely accepted, that's going to get rid of a lot of their excuses and then they'll move on to how the technologies can literally change all of our lives to where we won't have to pay electric bills, guys. We won't have to worry about our cars going down the road. Things like that. And it's been
you're welcome, Ange. You're welcome, Ange. She said thanks for a wonderful birthday. It was her birthday today.
Oh, awesome. Happy birthday, Ange. So,
but yeah, it's,
as I call it, corporeal incarceration day.
I would say happy born naked day. Yeah.
I love it when people say that's one thing. When I'm so depressed, I don't have this. I lost my house, and it's that same thing. I say you come into this world naked, broke, kicked out of the only place you called home for 9 months, and covered in someone else's blood, and you made it this far. So you're good.
Came out of a fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
corporeal incarceration day. I posted that on a friend's
thing. So she says, I've never been wished that before. She says, but now that you put it that way, I understand what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's but this is all fascinating. I mean, I love paranormal stuff.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that are really any type of critical mind, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's to get outside of the normal realms of possibility and say, hey, you know, what is this? And I mean, Tesla, he left us a big clue right before he left. You know, he said, if you want to know the mysteries of the universe, think in terms of sound, vibration, and energy. You know, and then if you look at things like Edison said, and most people didn't know Edison right before it was actually working. His next big invention was going to be this thing that communicated with the dead. Most people say he did complete it and then destroyed the final plans for it. And in those skull experiments, there is something that appears on a piece of closed film. It was never opened, brought into there, and they say it is his signature, and it's a circuit that is the completing circuit that they used to do a lot of their experiments for the EVPs and communications that they used after that made their experiments go even farther. So that's really good. If you want anything on the afterlife, I can't stress that one enough. It is the best documentary I've ever watched. There's several of them on it, but it's called The Skull Experiments, and it's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, I'd have to.
Most documented thing ever. I mean, like with all the people, hundreds of people came, and you know they did this, like I said, over a 5-10 year period. So it just kept bringing people. If you're a skeptic, come see it. Search everything out. See if there's any electronic devices in this room. And
oh wow!
And everybody was allowed to inspect everything beforehand, after, and everything. So, but they even explained the reason for having the dark, that the energies that were communicating with them, and there was this group that was the specific energies they were concentrating on that were helping to bring forward some of this information, you know, and communicate some of the things they did. Said that there's reasons for that the light waves interfere with how they're trying to transmit to them, and you know, I mean, whether you believe it or not, look at it and make your own judgment. It was very interesting to me, even after all the years in the field, to see how far I think they've gone farther in the field than anyone ever has. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, if you get another investigation, I'd love to go on.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I was just talking about when you mentioned earlier hotels. For years here, I've wanted to go to the Clown Motel out here. Have you heard about that one?
Yes.
It's not very far from here.
It's not.
And it's got the cemetery next to it.
Just to go. That place. Right.
I want to go out there.
And actually, I was on my way up to Clear Lake, and me and Dana and Danny were we stopped there because we just right through the going right through the town. I think it's in Tonopah, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's right there. They actually remodeled it.
Yeah, I heard they did a lot of work.
They painted it and everything. And we went in there just go talk to the guys. Like, well, is there a lot of activity and stuff here? He goes, not so much here, but over there.
The graveyard next door.
It's the graveyard. And it was just like, wow. I mean, it wasn't dark. It was still light when we were there. We didn't go inside the cemetery. We just kind of looked in there.
You know what's funny? I just found this out. All these years, you know what the difference is between a graveyard and a cemetery?
What's the gates?
Oh, believe it or not, one's attached to a church, the other one isn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never knew that. If there's no church attached to it, that's the cemetery, or vice versa. I forget now which way it is, but it is one. One is located on a church property attached to a church, and then the other one is just the graves. So, yeah, I never knew there was a distinction.
Actually, me neither.
Called them both over the years.
Oh, yeah.
My dad got me one time as a kid driving by, and I went, big, huge cemetery right in front of our house that we lived in Tucson. On El Burrito, literally was the park, and the cemetery was right there. And he says, Michael, do you know how many people are dead in that cemetery?
Yeah. I think my dad used
all right, Pops, you got me.
Yeah. My Pops used to get me all the time, too. He split his soda. He goes, I'll split that with you. I'm like, okay. So I take a drink, and then I'd hand him so he could have a drink, and he'd drink the whole thing. I'm like, what happened to mine? He goes, well, my half was on bottom. I'm like, what? I finally got to get him back, though. I mean, it took me this long to do it. You know, my dad's 83. Yeah, he turned 83 this year. And so I did that. He goes, I had a dad's root beer. And he goes, oh, I like dad's root beer. I said, I only got one. I said, I'll split it with you, though. And he goes, okay. I said, all right, hang on a minute. So what I did was I poured some out in a glass, and he didn't see me do that. I drank the whole thing, and I put it down. And he goes to grab the can, and he goes, thought you were going to split it with me. I said, well, my half was on bottom. But it's okay. I saved you some right here. I gave him the glass. He was like, he goes, oh, okay. I think I deserved that one. I said, yeah, you did.
Another personal on reincarnation, talking about life after death is, and it's one of the things that kind of helped me get into hypnosis, and that is, guy's name is Bob Snow. He was a detective at the Indianapolis Police Department. You guys can look up. He wrote a book on it, and it's called
Hey, Paul.
Looking for Carol Beckwith. And I'm not going to go into all the details. You can look it up if you're real interested. Basically, he was a police detective that on a dare went to a hypnotist and did a past life regression. And for 30 minutes, nothing happened. And then he took a tape recorder with him, and all these facts came out. And he spent, I guess, the next 10 years of his life. And there's some pretty uncanny things that happened in this search of why he turned down the street, went to this, found this one thing he was looking for, and then. But it turned out because he was determined to prove, I heard this somewhere. I knew these details as this man was on. Well, no, he knew someone famous, but he wasn't anyone really famous himself. And all his life information was in some archives that actually took him years to get, and they were sealed somewhere in an artist society. But everything that he had in those were contained. The facts that he wanted to verify as a detective were in the memoirs. And the guy, it's funny, the guy had actually written 68,000 pages. I guess he saved a journal every single day of his life.
Oh, wow.
Single page. I mean, his wife almost left him on it. It became like an obsession for him because he's like, he had to prove, how do I know all this stuff? And now he goes around and talks in seminars. He says, I thought for years people were the fools that believed in this kind of thing. For not looking at, there was evidence out there and I just never paid attention to it. And then it had to slap me in the face before I ever really took a look. And, it's a really interesting story. It'll give you something to think, because this man's one of those, he didn't believe in anything like that. When he encountered it. So
that's really cool.
But we're definitely planning. I want to, the whole COVID thing is because after Anna left the show and all, I've kind of taken some time off and haven't done a lot. People posting things, but as far as the TV show part of it. But I'm actively now wanting to go out and get on the little, because it's funny. We get a little team together and we just go out and everything from UF. There's a lot of sightings and everything. Interesting things, even with time distortion and old ghost towns here. There's a lot Nevada has to explore, and a lot of its own creepy places. So.
It was over in Rancho Circle. A friend of ours had a ranch house there. The ranch house, and then in the back there were stables that got turned into like a guest house. And so a buddy of mine had rented it from her. He was there, and he kept saying, the toilet seat kept flopping down. He saw mist come through there, and he had an idea for a show. He wanted to call it a paranormal reconstruct or remodel or something like that. So kind of remodeling the place and ghost hunting at the same time. And
there's a lot of activity, that is linked to when people do big remodels. Places will get active for some reason.
But so we're all sitting there. The owner's there. My lawyer Monty is there, and my friend is there. So they're talking, and I'm standing next to Vicky. We're standing there, and I feel something just real close to me. I'm just like, wait. So I kind of move a little bit, and I'm moving around a lot. And Vicky's kind of looking at me. She's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, okay." Not saying anything, but I just kept moving. Things were like right here, and then right here, and right here, and right behind my head. Nothing touched me, or pulled my hair. I didn't feel any breath or anything. I could feel something over me
in your presence,
and just right there, just all around me. And I'm just like, I felt really uncomfortable. So I kind of looked at my buddy. So we almost done here. And he goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Why?" And I went, "Just wondering." And then they kind of watched me a little bit, and I keep moving around. I wasn't really moving far. It just kept shifting. Kind of like, okay, you're here. Now I'm going to get you this far away. And it was just like, so we went outside, and I was just like, and I got a really cold chill when I walked outside. I was just like, ooh. It was hot out. It was summertime. I was just like, ooh, God. And he goes, "You're cold?" And I went, no, why? He goes, dude, you got goosebumps. I had goosebumps all over my arms.
Right.
I just got a really cold chill. And he goes, you okay? I said, I'll tell you later. So he got in the truck. He goes, what happened? I said, dude, I felt right here, right behind me. Just kept all around me. He goes,
Presences.
He goes, yeah, they were just trying to figure out what you were there for. And I guess. And I'm like, I was just standing there minding my own business. Come on. Does anybody notice that the hundreds of people die every day, but you never see new cemeteries? So where are all the dead people going?
A lot of people get cremated nowadays. There's a lot
Yeah.
of cremation. It's amazing how many people choose to be cremated now.
Yeah.
But it
Thanks,
does make
Paul. That
you
was a good
think
question.
where all the bodies. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because you see a lot of
Think
people.
of all the people that ever lived.
Cemeteries
Graves
are
and
are they stacking cemeteries now?
We were talking about Soylent Green earlier. Maybe there's more
Right.
to that than we know about. Sure, we're eating soy burgers.
Oh God. Oh no.
Soylent Green. Okay.
No.
Any of your viewers that want, like Ann, if you seem to be rolling in, on the everythingstrange.news, I'm looking for moderators and people that want to get in and be authors and actually go and bring like new articles into the site and everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've got several thousand things on there. A couple of them, there's some of my personal files on there too of a house we had in Key West where a little girl shows up in the window and there's pictures of that in the back. We're all outside on the porch partying and people used to come. It was a rental house we had there, so we'd have people, guests from out of town. Someone just took this picture and nobody noticed till a while later, and they said, "Oh, who's the little girl?" And we're like, "There was no little girl there. It was all adults,
Oh yeah.
And then the one with the specter in here on the pole is also in there on that shows and that was one of the best apparition I think or specter shots that I've ever had in the 30 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
I've ever caught, and I've been some of the most active places. And then we weren't doing a ghost hunt or anything that night, but nobody's been able to explain what that thing was.
Wow. That's pretty
creepy
cool.
looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get on the everythingstrange.news and if you want, to be active in any role in there, just send me a message either through Facebook. I'm on Steve's friends list, or I'd put you guys, give you guys priority. Somebody that really wanted to be active and do something. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you guys can do that,
and then we can even make you part of the team if you want to become an ETS member. You can actually.
I can give you lots of stories.
Hey, that's what they're there. That's what it's there for, is to share,
right.
with everybody. And I love reading the people. I go on there all the time and read people's updated personal encounters and we call the Paranormal Places Project. We actually started a little like map thing on there where you can go and place anything that is a recurring event or space-time distortion, creatures that'll have a little paw, and you can go anywhere in the world, pictures or videos.
Oh wow. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a couple places that I posted, like one's called Spook Hill. It's where cars roll uphill. I think it's actually just a distortion event, but you can go experience it for yourself because there's one in Indiana and one in another state. Yeah,
I've heard.
So where you could actually go and you can experience it for yourself. I think it's an optical illusion, but it's interesting to do.
Oh yeah, you're sitting there and just like, and you're going uphill. You're going, okay, this is creepy. Why? Okay, why am I going uphill? But that's pretty cool.
All of your lore as a child, when you're
it's
a way of sharing it with other people. So if they want to go and actually have a map based, thing of, hey, where this is, and then you can link those to your articles of your personal experiences if it's something you've done yourself as well. So.
Oh yeah.
But I know it's kind of like MUFON's. How MUFON, you can go and they have a little searchable and scrollable map, kind of like Google, and it's based off Google Maps, but it allows you to put in pictures and location and all that stuff. So the only thing we ask, don't post anything that's on private property of somewhere that you can't go.
Right.
Because we don't want to be part of
Sure.
causing anybody to go onto someone else's property. So
Right.
Legal reason they want to come shoot us.
Or that ghost comes finds us and really.
There was a thing. There's a huge, really nice, well-preserved ghost town down outside of Tucson, a place called Vail, Arizona.
Okay.
But you have to hike back in like 11 miles, and it's on private property. And the man said, I had no problem at first, but then people come out and started destroying my land and harming the actual buildings and destroyed it for other people. So he just closed it off to everything, but like paranormal groups and stuff. So. But there's a piano in there, plays by itself, and it's not a player piano.
It's not a player.
Nope.
It's not one of those little crank ones.
No. So there's some interesting things there over the years. So.
Wow.
Tombstone's a very active town.
It is. It is. That's what I've heard.
Interesting.
I've been to Tombstone a couple of times. Never experienced anything there, but they always
all the locals will tell you about all the stories.
Yeah. And they'll always tell you, oh yeah, the movie Tombstone is all full of shit. That's not what happened. It happened like this. Both movies were wrong.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
Well, it's funny. You even talk to local that have passed down, and there's variations of the events,
Right.
of the people that have passed it, through folklore to each other. So,
Mhm.
and like any story, it gets embellished over time, but it's all based in fact of some of the things
Right.
that did
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, it definitely did happen.
And the gunfights are great to watch down there if you ever go down. They have some great actors. So.
Yeah. I went down there when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I remember when I went down there, I was probably 12, 13. They had the wooden, just the mock-ups of the Earps and the Clantons and the Clowries and everything, just all standing there. And then they take them down and have the real gunfight.
Right.
And it was pretty neat. We took
live Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, I go and you'll see Doc Holliday up in his on his hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
He'll walk out on the balcony, he's sitting there and he's just smoking a cigar. That's all he does. But it's pretty funny.
You ever been to Nelson's Landing out here? And they have that little. You go in the back and they have the aliens sitting in the room right there, and they give you the mine tour.
Oh yeah.
It's a
I went down there quite a few years ago. Yeah,
I like those guys. They've done a lot in just the last couple of years with it. I took my wife and her
It's
kid
been
down.
about 7 years. 7, 8
It's
years.
The mine tour is well worth it, especially during the summer because you go. It's 120 outside, and you go in there. It's like 70 some degrees. It's beautiful inside.
Right. Yeah.
So, great retreat from the heat.
Yeah, really go underground. Yeah, that's really cool. Man, this has been fun.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I get to be on your strange. I got to get some stranges.
I'll get you a T-shirt.
Yeah.
We've got the different T-shirts. If anybody's interested, let me know because I give them away at just a little over what they cost us to make them too. So.
Right.
And then
That's
you can get. We've got the paranormal researcher caps and all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, so you got all the merch and stuff.
Yeah, you got all the merch and all the.
It's really cool.
Don't push it too hard, but for people that want to, be a part of the program. So.
Oh yeah, that's really great. For having me on your show too.
I'm sure you'll get.
I had two dual shows here. That
cross-platform.
Cool. Oh yeah, definitely. It's always fun. Get the music aspect of it, and then get the other side of it too. It's all entertainment.
Diversity, spice of life.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, it's these people, strangers. Till next time.
Take it easy. Thank you for joining in on us and spending time with us, telling stories.
Yeah. We'd love to hear some of yours. So get
definitely.
on post. Tell us about what's. That's the thing that gets me is after all these years, I still hear unique experiences of things that I didn't even think were possible or a different viewpoint on it. So I love hearing that. So expand your awareness on it.
Cool. Good deal. Thanks, guys. So Facebook Live. You guys be cool, be fun, and join us next week. Probably have some more stuff going on, and hopefully do another show. And
Steve's always got interesting things planned for you. He really does try and.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
And don't forget his Monday mornings. He has the captain's chair.
Monday morning, 6 a.m.
With an actual captain.
Yeah. You get live from the captain's chair. It's really actually.
I'll link to your site on the Everything Strange board. Even though it's not, strange related, but hey, we can cross platform. People are always looking for different little things.
Sure. Yeah. I always try to have a good conversation. Yeah. And
if nothing else, he has unique views on things. That's why we get along so well.
Yeah. I definitely have a very unique opinion of some things. But
you don't squash other people's too. That's what I like.
No, the thing is, you really can't, because if you do, you're being closed-minded.
Exactly.
If you're going to squash somebody else's thought or opinion.
I've always said, you want to be a teacher first and foremost, you must always remain a student.
So. Right. I'm always learning stuff. I'm always learning new shit all the time. But yeah, thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Well.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Have a good night.
That does it for us. We're out of here. Take care. Okay. Oh, I got to go on that other one and get out of the lines. All right. Take it easy. Peace.
Ending live video.